Welcome, everybody, to Crunch Time with Jeff, Booner, Lukas, and Gentry. Today is our NBA Draft Watch-Along. We are going to be live as the Pistons pick, reacting to what the Pistons are doing. It is live right now. I got it on the computer behind me. I know everyone's locked in, tuned in, watching us and the NBA Draft. But, boys, it's draft night. A lot of things transpired today. A lot of players talked about going back to their teams. We'll get into it. But, boys, how are we feeling tonight?
Feel great. That music's got me pumped up over there, Jeff Iafrate. Let's go.
As it
Booner,
should. As it should.
Booner, it was great to have you back yesterday, and it's great to see who the Detroit Pistons are going to bring in to play alongside Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris this season. So I can't wait to see. Can't wait to see it. Who do they bring along? Who do they bring alongside Tobias this offseason?
I thought you were saying me. I thought you were saying the Booner. They're bringing you along, Booner. I was excited. I was excited to suit up. No, I'm pumped. I can't wait. I hope they just make some moves. Are you good, Klotzy? The Wi-Fi.
Well,
I think I'm hanging in there. It'll catch up in a second. It'll catch up.
Every time I see the shake of the head, I know what it is.
I want to add in. It is being at least reported. I saw this on Bleacher Report, and I want to make sure I give credit to the exact source. Let me see if I can find it. The Ringer. They said that Detroit could be looking to move back in tonight's draft. They're listening to offers for the 5th overall pick. So
love that.
Remember we talked about it. That was my prediction on it. I think the Pistons move back, and maybe Dalton Connect at that point could be in play, fellas, or Cody Williams, who I've been pushing for the last couple days here. So things are going to get interesting tonight. We're going to have some special guests join the show as well. But Nicholas Claxton back with the Brooklyn Nets. He signed a 4-year, $100 million deal. OG Anunoby returns to the New York Knicks on a max contract as well. So 2 guys linked to the Pistons off the market. They are no longer, at least in the Pistons' plans at this point in time. So things are going to get active next couple of days.
All that means is the plan that I told you guys yesterday about signing these bringing in these vets and trading for these expiring contracts. That's just like they were talking about at the press conference, taking on contracts, doing what you have to do to be able to kind of bring in more assets. That's what it seems like it's going to happen. It's like you're not going to be able to sign some of these guys. Maybe the Tobias is the only piece that you can sign, honestly, at this point. But I'm still out on that. I'd rather just get on expiring contracts and do that if all of these guys are unavailable this year.
And that's probably what they're going to do. I mean, you can only assume it at this point. I think, given what's been going on, I mean, OG returns to the Knicks. Of course, he gets paid and he gets to compete for a championship. Brandon Ingram, I guess, is still an option. I haven't seen the Pistons linked to him yet. I've seen other teams interested in Brandon Ingram, so there's that. So it's going to be interesting. To your point, Booner, it's probably going to be more of a like they mentioned at the press conference, bringing in contracts that are expiring, getting assets. Got to find a way to fill most of that cap somehow.
Yeah, I think that's the smart way to do it. And I get the Tobias. I don't know. We're not going to get into that stuff again today.
No,
I think we stay clear of that.
Yeah, we obviously we disagree, and that's okay. We'll spend a lot of time on it. Draft is starting. Adam Silver is talking. Man, he just the alien memes never get old. I mean, he
does a good job though. He's good at his job.
He does,
which is good.
I
do think a lot of
does a great job.
At least for the NFL and the NBA, the commissioners, they have done a decent job. I know a lot of people hate Roger Goodell. I'm not a big fan, but he does grow the game to a sense. So I will give him and Adam Silver credit for that. I do hope, though, I hope the Pistons do make a move and trade back. I'm going to be refreshing my phone over here all night, and I'm interested. You know what's interesting about this draft, Jeff, is this is our first draft in 3 or 4 years without Troy Weaver. And the one thing we've known about Troy Weaver is Troy Weaver loves to make moves come day one. Like he loves to trade back in. He loves to trade back and add another first round. He always loved to do that. I'm interested to see Trajan Langdon's his kind of approach to this, since he's the one that's going to be handling the draft today. Like, what is his approach? Is he going to be looking to trade back, somehow add another first round pick like Troy Weaver has in the past, or kind of what his mindset is with this draft?
I got some people I want to give a shout out to. We got Etienne says, fellas, Etienne, my guy.
Etienne, man.
Appreciate you. Alan says, what's up, y'all? Appreciate you, Alan, for tuning in. Keitho, he says, let's fucking go, fellas. Keitho, appreciate you as well. Tiger Town, what's up, boys? What's going on, Tiger Town? Brandon, I think they trade down. I think that's what we we see happening as well, Brandon. We're with you. G. Cruz says, what up, fellas? Man, what up, G. Cruz? We appreciate you all. We are going to be dialed in, trying to find an ounce of optimism, So this is the start. It feels like, 2020 again, basically 2020, 2020, except you walked away with Killian Hayes with their first pick in the draft. I'm curious, trade back to if they trade back, I don't think they trade back lower than 10. I think that would be like a ideal. Maybe if they trade a little farther back, maybe you get a player in return as well.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if like that 7, 8, 9 area, as crazy as it does sound, and I heard this today, is some of those teams, if Donovan Klingon, if he starts to fall a little bit towards the 5th pick, I did hear before, I was watching something that said that the Pistons have been in talks with people like you just said, Jeff, but it was with if Klingon needs to, like, if he starts to fall and there's teams that want to go at him, that's a player that a lot of teams kind of want to trade up for. So that's like, maybe the Pistons just trade back 2 or 3, or maybe they go outside the top 10. Well, I'm interested to see if he goes 1, though, because there has been those conversations.
The Hawks are on the clock. The Hawks are on the clock, and I think at this point it's safe to assume it's going to be Zachary Risacher. He was someone that was projected to go number 1, and then for a period of time it was Alex Sarr, and then Alex Sarr didn't work out for Atlanta, and now Atlanta's pretty much sold on drafting Zachary Risacher, which I do like a lot. I think he's going to be a great pick for him. I personally think Alex Sarr should be the number 1 pick, but given he has a preference, and I guess probably his agent is helping him out with this process, that they want to go to Washington, which, okay, you're going to miss out on a couple $1 million and you're going to Washington, but that's okay. And I think at this point we can assume the first 2 picks are already decided, unless anything changes. But I think it's going to be Zachary Risacher and Alex Sarr, 1 and 2. Carl Collins, what up, though, people? Carl, my guy.
Carl, man, he's a legend. Last year, I remember the draft. He was with us last year at our old place.
He's a real one. He is. Trisco says, what moves should we expect the Pistons to make tonight? Or I guess what kind of player would help the roster the most right now? Booner, what do you think?
I'm just honestly, I'm after the last few years, I'm just more so best fit for the team. I'm not really looking for best available. I'm just looking for best fit, like a Dalton Connect. If you trade back, get him. Go get someone that can shoot the rock a little bit. Like you said, Jeff, Cody Williams, he shoots at like 40%. Like, go get someone who can kind of fill into this team. It would be preferably, as crazy as it sounds, a bigger wing that can shoot, that has, even from 35 to 40%. Like, if they end up with the guy that has some sort of shot and is a bigger wing and more athletic, I think that's what we're looking for. Am I wrong on that?
No. I think. Can you hear the draft, by the way? Can you hear it in my mic?
You're good. It's like really quiet, but you're good. You're good. Maybe turn it down a half a.
What about now?
Nope, you're all good.
All right. To answer the question, I think for me and Booner are in lockstep. Shooting should be prioritized. This team needs more shooting. They're one of the worst, actually, I think the worst 3-point shooting team, and either attempts and makes. I think both. So they need shooting. That's what you need to surround Cade Cunningham with. I think also on top of that, I would also like some versatility defensively. That's why I'm looking at wings. Dalton Connect, I'm willing to compromise because of how good he is as a shooter. So that there's that as well. But for me, the Pistons, I expect them to trade back and take Cody Williams or Dalton Connect.
Yep.
That's where I'm at.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, and Dalton, I think given the draft too, you got to think about it. I mean, we mentioned it the other day that Tyler Hero went 13th in his respective draft, but it's different. This draft isn't the draft that Tyler Hero came out in. This draft's looked at it's. I don't want to say it's a bad draft. It's because there's always going to be a couple players that come out of it that are pretty good, but it's definitely not a draft that's.
Can I ask you a question?
One of the better ones in recent history. What's up?
I texted you this the other day. What are your thoughts if they end up taking like a point guard, like a Jared McCain, trading back and get like Rob Dillingham from Kentucky or Jared McCain? I heard Coach Cal talk today on the Pat McAfee show about his Kentucky guards. And if you do look back at these guards, like these Kentucky guards always turn out to be really, really good. Like, is that, would you be kind of out on them going after Rob Dillingham? Like, he is an elite scorer. And he shoots at 40-something% as well. And same with Jared McCain, an elite scorer, ball handler, and shoots at a high clip as well. Like, the both of those guys, like, would you be against them trading back and saying, hey, let's just go get a point guard? I know Cade is kind of your number one, but like if there's times you can maybe get him off the ball a little bit and you can add like a true a true point guard out there that can shoot at 40% around Cade. Like I feel like that's not that bad of a kind of way to kind of go about it.
I think the thing we have to keep in mind here, not you, but in general for Pistons fans, is Trajan Langdon doesn't know anybody on this roster or anything. So we can't just assume that he's going to be like, okay, I have Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham. We're set at guard. No,
Yeah.
I think he doesn't know any of these guys besides obviously Cade Cunningham because he's more known in the NBA world as someone who's up and coming. But he doesn't know Jaden Ivey like that. He doesn't. And how is he? What do you think it'd be smart as a president of basketball operations for Trajan Langdon to be like, well, we already have Ivey, so I'm not going to take a guard. Like,
no, I think you have to consider it.
Player he sees possible and a player that he thinks could fit next to Cade Cunningham, and you roll, you keep it moving.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you on that.
That's question, Booner, I would not be surprised to answer your question.
And I've been high on both of those guys too. That's why I kind of asked that question. Is they're both elite scorers who could shoot at a high level. So. Excuse me. I woke up sick today after a trip from New York. Something got me. I got clipped by something. So if I'm coughing a little bit, that is the reason why. I do see.
You're fighting through adversity, Boone. I respect it.
Flu game here for me today.
Yeah, it's flu game Boone on draft night. The Tiger Town says, watch us draft Berzelis. I mean, it's so obvious. And I see Brandon Dogs. Modest Berzelis is the only player I don't want. And we've already talked about it. The shooting thing, the shooting scares me.
Yeah.
It does. The pick is in.
He does have a high upside. The thing with that is I've read like 2 or 3 articles today, and every single article that I read said that's probably the biggest lock of the NBA draft is him going to the Detroit Pistons, which worries me a little bit because that just like seems like such the obvious like BPA, like, oh, the high ceiling. But to me, it's like we've done that for the last 4 years. And it's not that I'm tired of it, and I know it's a new regime, but it still is a little,
Zachary Reed, number 1 overall pick, expected.
He's good, dude. By the way, I watched his highlights today. I went and dove a little deeper into him. He's gonna be good.
Yeah, he's not the number 1 overall pick, I guess, in compared to like previous drafts. Like Victor came out last year, obviously. But to your point, Boone, I like him as well. I mean, 6'9".
Upside.
Yeah, and that's the first 2 picks are going to probably be players from overseas, which kind of tells you the direction this league is heading. I mean, that's again, the talent is everywhere. I expect Alex Sarr to be the next pick. So this is going to get it. And I think Houston it starts with Houston. That's when the draft starts.
That's what has been the conversation. It's like number 3, like the 3rd overall pick is when things really start to pick up. And like, if you're going to start seeing trades and things like that, that's going to come at number 3 because people are going to be making moves. I'm interested actually in the Houston situation. I don't know if you kind of heard the whole situation that was going down today with them and the picks, but I'm interested to see if they who they end up taking here.
Oh, this is nuts. Trajan Langdon's first draft. And I mentioned this the other day. It really does matter. Even Troy. I mean, you took Killian and Sadiq Bey and Isaiah Stewart. That Killian Hayes pick was still talked about on his way out.
Yes.
So you have to get this right. You don't have to hit on it. You don't have to draft Giannis, but you can't draft Killian Hayes. You can't draft that caliber of player where he's out of the league in a couple of years.
You're the one that always tells me, because when I would go at Troy Weaver and same with Gentry, when we would go at each other, you're always the one that says it's hard to pick a first round in the NBA draft. Like, that's hard to do. But with the Troy Weaver stuff, it's every single year, and I guess it is a shot at Troy, but every single year he consistently was getting multiple first round picks, and it just felt like none of them were hitting, and it was just you're getting nothing out of them. And then you're starting to see other players that got picked behind your guys find success, and you're like, okay, what's going on? And that was like the Killian Hayes thing. That was the very first one. And then in the same draft, you get Sadiq Bey and you get Isaiah Stewart, and you're like, all right, you just had 3 first round picks. Like, who's the team this year that has 3 first round picks? I think it's Utah Jazz, I believe.
Yep.
And they have 3 first. Like, you have to hit on one of those. Like, you're looking to rebuild and build a contending franchise. You have to hit. If you have 3, if there's a year you have 3 first round picks, some of them have to be kind of players that fill into a role on your team. And like Troy Weaver's first draft, he had 3 first round picks and acquired some, and none of them have kind of been a big piece on your basketball team. You just cut one, and one just got cut from their national team as well.
Yeah, I mean, you got to at least walk away with somebody. I mean, Isaiah Stewart could be traded, so it probably will be. Excuse me. Yeah, and The Wizards are on the clock now. Oh, this. And I see someone in the chat. Someone said, Jason, you think that we would look down on Troy as much if Killian was a serviceable bench player?
I think so. Yeah. I still think so.
Got it because of what would happened right after him. I mean, Tyrese Halliburton was the pick right after him. That no matter how Killian Hayes would have to be that caliber of player, or else. I mean,
it's tough because it wasn't like Killian was the clear pick in that spot. It was I think anyone as a Pistons fan sat at home and went, Tyrese Halliburton, let's go, bring him into Detroit. Everyone was saying that. I remember I sat over here a foot away from where I'm at right now during that draft and said, give me Tyrese Halliburton. And your GM went the opposite direction when everyone was zigging. He tried to zag and it failed. And it failed miserably too. Really bad. So that's where it's like, even if he was a bench player, it still is a fail because Tyrese Halliburton just was an all NBA player. Like all NBA, it was on an all NBA team last season. So that it is it's a big miss.
I see the pick is in for the Wizards. Again, assuming that this is Alex Sarr. Nick says Sarr is definitely going. Yeah, I mean there's no way. He talk about upside. 7-1. I mean, he's gonna walk in day one as a very good defender with an offensive skill set that could be very, very dangerous. What's up, Klotz?
I have Klotz.
How are we, fellas? How do I look and sound? Oh,
hey, you look beautiful. You sound even better.
Thanks, Boone.
I did think though with Alex Sarr, the conversation I've seen is that potentially it's like the first year not expecting much out of him and letting him develop a little bit and get into it. I don't know. That's just what is that true, Jack?
So who will be the Wizards' front court once he kind of emerges then?
They just made a trade too, by the way. The Wizards did.
Oh, don't do that.
Because you said the Wizards are probably taking him?
Oh, don't do that. They traded what?
No, they traded for Malcolm Brogdon before the draft, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My bad. I guess when I said that, I was like, wait a second.
Tom says, first time watching NBA draft. Well, Tom, we appreciate it's with us. Nick says Tyrese was 12th. Yeah, I didn't mean literally after Killian, but that was the player. And if you remember, he worked out with the Pistons, I believe. And that was the big thing. You know, Tyrese was in play. I remember that draft.
Man, they have Klotz. They have Jordan Poole, Kyle Kuzma. You would have Alex Sarr, Marvin Bagley, Malcolm Brogdon, Corey Kispert. They don't have like their team. I mean, they're right there a little bit with the Pistons in the sense.
They just need a star. You just draft the player you feel like can be really a franchise player.
It's an interesting roster that they have.
And that's Alex Sarr.
I thought you guys completely ignored me on that question. I was like, damn, fuck me, I guess.
No, I was just looking up. I wanted to. There's a thing with some. There's just a thing like at this point in the off season, especially with a team like the Wizards, and they just made a trade. I have to go double check the roster and make sure it's like
Alex Sarr
gone.
There we go.
Yep, and all the Wizards fans are freaking out. He is huge.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was kind of looking at some highlights of him, just kind of like the top prospects, just to get a little familiar with him. Yeah, that dude's a genetic freak, bro.
Shout out the NBL too, National Basketball League over in Australia. I'll shout out all my boys over there if you guys are listening. Love you guys. I've got a kid coming out. I've got someone coming out next year in the draft. The Pistons can scoop up. He's an athletic freak and has an absolute knockdown jumper. Shout out Alex Stewart.
Two Frenchmen, pick 1 and 2.
I've got a Pistons.
They just put up a stat that 2 times that Alex Sarr played the G League Ignite team, he averaged like 21, 8 rebounds, and like 6 blocks. Like that is
he played with the number 1 overall pick too. Yeah, in France for the France team. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. Jashar, can you help me with that?
Wow. Oh yeah, every time Jeff says it, I was like,
what's the other French guy's name?
Zachary Risache.
Zachary Risache. Crazy.
Yeah.
I would say Zakari.
Yeah, zucchini. I mean, just
What's that one name that I messed up that one time? It was brutal.
What was that, bro?
That was insane. All right, this is where the draft really gets interesting, boys.
Oh wait, for me, who I messed up?
No, I did. You remember I messed up
Booner. Mahogany?
There was like a Lions player that I like.
Yeah, that was funny too.
I was like I was like butchering his name.
Oh, Boone. Well, that's gonna drive me nuts.
Tristo says, honestly, let's have some fun. How about the Spurs pick Klingon and have 2 mammoths on their team?
I think the Spurs are going to get like Dalton Connect, and that's going to be a great piece for them. Like
they're going to take Stephon Castle. UConn, you remember him? You watched?
Oh yeah, no, Stephon Castle. He's a dog.
That dude is like a
Booner.
That's a Spur, right?
Booner, you said Morris Norris instead of Maurice Morris.
Oh, Maurice, yeah, Morris.
You know what? Side note: Jeff Risdon said his name like that too, Morris Norris. I don't know if it's he. Booner might be right. I don't know. He said it when he was talking. He's like Morris Norris. I was like, maybe Booner's right. I don't know.
Hey, talk to me.
I'm pretty sure it's spelled exactly like Maurice. I'm like almost positive.
Maybe Jeff Risdon got it wrong too. I mean, who knows?
Hey, not everybody's perfect. You have your ups and downs. Everybody has their weaknesses.
All right, this is what.
But Blue Lantern, when the Pistons pick, please announce the pick. Unlike when the Lions pick, and y'all just make monkey noises for minutes. That's the experience. All right,
yeah,
we're gonna get excited.
If you would have told me going into that draft that the Lions got Terrion Arnold, I would have reacted exactly like that. Yeah, I wouldn't have been.
Yeah, there's no way in hell we're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, the Lions, they drafted Terrion Arnold, guys." Everyone's like,
yeah, one pride. CB2, Carlton Davis, CB1, Terrion Arnold,
bringing the energy. But the Pistons don't really deserve the energy at this point. You know, they just haven't really done anything to.
I've got the pick, but I'm going to wait for them to announce it.
Don't spoil it, Boom.
I'm not, but I'm going to say things start to get interesting at 3, boys.
Hold on.
Who do you guys think goes at 3?
It's going to be something random. It should be Reed Sheppard or Rob Dillingham. It's going to be one of the Kentucky guards.
I like the Kentucky guards, man. I like I said earlier in the show, I do think, dude, like Cal went on the Pat McAfee when he's sitting there saying, like, he starts naming all the guards that have been drafted the last few years, and some of them went like Tyrese Maxey 21 or something, and Emmanuel Quickly like 23. And you're like, how do those guys drop that much? And people just keep overlooking Kentucky guards. And he was like, I'll take my guards over anyone any day. And obviously, as a coach, you're going to say that, but he backs it up.
There's a resume.
Every single Kentucky guard that's been in the first round has been an absolute dog, essentially. So it's like, if you have one on the board when you're up to pick, why not? Like, that's why I brought up the Dillingham thing. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that?
Where'd Jamal get picked at?
But who?
Jamal Murray. Where'd he get picked at?
He was in the probably. I think he was.
Teams?
No, I think he was top 10.
7,
if not just outside. Let me see.
7, yeah. And a lot of these guys, like Reed Sheppard, came off the bench at Kentucky this year. I'm pretty sure Rob Dillingham came off the bench too at one point. Like, these guys were coming off he's got guys coming off the bench going to the lottery every year. It's one of the more insane things.
Recruiter. They just don't stay. That's the other thing about them. They're always there for like a year, 2 years tops.
He did say today, he was like, in the past, he was like the last few years, I have some of the youngest teams in college basketball. And he was like, I'm kind of switching that up. He was like, I still want the number one players in the country. He was like, but on top of that, I'm going to make sure the transfer portal, I'm going to get guys that stay in art, because he's in Arkansas now. So he seems like he's got a plan down.
Here's the pick. But let's see what Booner.
Do you want me to announce? Should we do the NFL draft noise?
Reed Sheppard,
baby.
It's a smart pick.
Yeah.
Smart pick.
The only reason I said it's interesting is because he are with the Houston making that kind of all those trades today. The rumors were that they were going to go Donovan Klingon and trade Sengun and kind of move on from him.
Trade Sengun.
That was the conversations all day today on national TV was if they draft Klingon, that now you're going to see that Sengun's going to be on the market, because now you have multiple centers on that team.
I would take Sengun over Klingon 8 days out of 7. I mean,
but
that is ridiculous.
To their point, they had at the end of last year, Jabari Smith. Remember, they were like 18-5 down the stretch, and Jabari Smith was playing center. So it was like, okay, like if we can win without Sengun, we can get something for him. As much as like you're getting first round picks for people.
Yeah. They would get a haul for him. He's good. Well, Reed Sheppard's off the board, so that puts the Spurs up.
Great
to
pick.
Probably. I think Castle goes here. If I'm being honest, I think Castle goes here. So look, so Reed Sheppard, that made sense. I think Castle goes 4. I think Castle goes 4. They're going to take a point guard or Rob Dillingham, either one. They're going to take a point guard here, but I think it's Castle,
which is a great pick either way.
Yeah, he's dude.
6'6", basically guard that can handle the rock and score the ball.
Yeah, he reminds me of they're going to have him on that DeJounte Murray plan where they just develop him into an absolute stud.
Yeah,
that's what they're going to do with him because defensively he's already really good.
And they have the 8th overall pick too, so you can get him and say you get
Do they really?
Dalton, you get Dalton Connect. You end up getting a guy like him and Dalton Connect. You get 2 guards that can score the rock.
They could walk out because I think if they don't take Castle here, I think the Hornets could take him. So I think if I'm the Spurs, I just take Castle right here, and then you take a forward at 8. Take whoever.
How long do you think the Spurs window like opens up where they finally come into form as like a contender, at least making the playoffs, like a legitimate team again?
Like when does that happen?
Yeah, how long? Because obviously you got Wemby.
I think in the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I think Wemby is a type of player that he's so special. He's going to speed that process up, but on top of that, players are going to want to play with him. Like that's the type of player he is. So their rebuild is not going to take that long. Like they're going to be back.
And when people
like there's players that actually love Cade, but no one's saying I'm going to Detroit to cook Cade. Like people want to play with Victor Wembanyama. That's the type of guy. It's ridiculous.
That's what I mean with Victor, with Wemby. It's like you saw him at the beginning of the year to now. He got so much better in just one season. Like he got so comfortable.
He should have won Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie.
As a rookie, which is crazy. So like now you start adding young pieces around him, and there were already a bunch of young pieces. Like Jeremy Sohan from there, he's going to be a dog too. Like you have that's a good basketball team that they have there. So I don't know. I think they start adding pieces, and then you get some pieces in free agency. You still have Greg Popovich as your coach, the greatest to ever do it. So like as soon as you get a decent team, I wouldn't be shocked. I wonder how long he has left.
What if the Shift God says if the Spurs take Berzelis? I don't think they do, but that would be that's like you can watch Spurs get him.
Yeah.
Freaking like absolute stud. And I look like an ass the last couple of days for being like, I'm okay. I don't want Modest. Yeah, this is going to only get interesting here. Gosh, I hope they trade back. I hope they don't stay put at 5. I don't. I think you can get a couple of these players that I'm okay with closer to 10.
How would you tier the rest of the prospects, the ones that are remaining?
I mean, it's. I'm gonna be honest. I think tier 1 in this draft to me would be probably like the first 2 picks, and I think Alex Sarr is the only tier 1 to me. Like Zachary Ricochet is good. But this draft, in my opinion, doesn't have like a handful of guys where you're like, oh, stud. There's, I think there's like tier 1, I'd put Alex Sarr there, and then there's tier 2, and you could put. It really depends on who you ask. That's how this draft is basically. Like, who's higher on who? There's guys that are higher on certain players than others, but I think Alex Sarr universally should be like the best. He's the most, to me, highest upside in the draft.
Highest for sure.
Yeah, this draft, it's a weird one. Like I think you can get similar value from 3 to like 14. Does that make sense? Like they're all kind of in this like group. Maybe a little drop off, but not. There's going to be some guys in the teens that you look back and you're like, oh, these guys are good players. Like,
yeah,
definitely. That's why I want the Pistons to trade back.
It's essentially similar. Like who you're going to get at 5, you can get a similar player that's going to make the same impact on your team in the next 10 years as you would at 12 or 8 or 9. Like it's very, very similar to that point.
I wonder. I mean, Rob Dillingham would be a really good pick too. I like Rob a lot. Rob's going to be a good player. He's going to be good.
I'm shocked he's not going earlier. Honestly, like I'm shocked he hasn't been talked about more to go earlier as a Kentucky guard that can score the rock at a high clip. Like who was it that said someone compared him to like a it was Coach Cal. Coach Cal was like he's like a big guard that he still has some, he obviously defensively he's a little smaller. So when you get to the league, the physicality is a little tougher. But he said he scores the ball like Allen Iverson. That was the comparison that he gave. Like he was like literally scores the ball like AI. When you hear something like that, I know it's Coach Cal, his coach saying that, but like Coach Cal has been around the game, so he knows. So like he knows all these guys. So to be able to say something like that, I feel like that's pretty high regard. A guy that could score the ball like that. Add him on the Pistons with Cade. That's scary.
Stephon Castle to the Spurs. I'm on a heater today, boys.
Who's are we up? Are we up?
Yeah. They don't trade it, yeah.
If they don't trade this, I'm gonna be.
Yeah, the Pistons haven't stayed put. Maybe honestly, boys, it could be this too. Pistons are calling. Teams are like, I'm good. I don't want 5. Why would I want 5?
What did I say before?
Yeah, because they all realize the same situation.
Yeah, exactly.
But what did I say before? A lot of teams towards the back end of the top 10 want Donovan Klingon.
Ooh, that would be.
He hasn't gone yet, so like there might be teams that are like, "Hey, we need to get ahead of."
What if the Pistons take him right now?
Oh my gosh, I think I would actually. I don't want Donovan. I don't know.
How come, Boone? How come?
No, I just don't want another center. Like again, I just want someone that can shoot the ball.
I know.
I just want to run it with Cade that can score the rock and shoot.
I'm in the same boat as you. I'm in the same boat.
I wouldn't be actually mad. Like he's going to be a fine player in the league. It's just more so it's what I want for this team.
Yeah, Castle. Right. That's a great pick. So that puts the Pistons on the clock at 5 at this point. And they're still modest. Dalton Connect, Cody Williams, Donovan Klingon. There's
I'm just refreshing over here, waiting for a trade to come through my phone.
Trajan cooking.
Here we go.
I would love all the people in the chat if you guys can put who you guys think they'll pick and who you want them to pick. But put both.
Just start spamming that thing.
I would love to see what all the people think. Freddie,
who's yours right now, Boone?
I'm just like, please send me a trade and trade back and get.
But if it's not, if they had to stay there, if they had to pick one, who do you want and who do you? Yeah.
If they had to pick one, Dillingham. I don't think they'll do it. I think they're going to do. Is it Matas?
Yeah.
Modest, but it's something. I'm honestly not 100% sure how to pronounce it either. I think it's Modest Berzelis.
We'll hear it. We'll hear it.
Hey, Salon, the man who's basically a 6'9" forward from France. He's someone that's maybe a little sleeper here. Not here. I mean, maybe in the top 10 for sure. They could go in a lot of different routes here. I hope it's Cody Williams. That's where I'm at.
Which, by the way, the Salon guy can shoot too. I was watching his film this morning.
Yep, Salon. I'd be okay with that. Again, just a wing. I mean, that's where I'm at. If you draft a wing who could shoot, build around Cade Cunningham, I think we're all happy. Just shooting should be prioritized. Coach Walk says if they get Dillingham, they are trading Ivy. Dillingham's still there.
If they get Klingon or whatever his name, do you guys think they trade Jalen Duren at that point? Like, do you move on? Him or Stu? You have to move on from one. I mean,
at least Stu at the bare minimum. I feel like one of them got to be gone. It'd be too crowded.
Yeah, I don't. So I don't know if it makes sense. I get it from a defensive standpoint. Klingon as a shot blocker, as a defensive anchor, but it's weird.
Who's Arm-Tellum's guy? Arm-Tellum's guy.
Modest.
Okay. Oh, we're getting him for sure then. Oh my god.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's where we're at now. Appreciate all of you. We have 250 plus people in here live. If you could do us a favor, if you're not already subscribed, subscribe, like the stream as well, and please comment in the chat who you want the Pistons to take. List them off. I have a poll right now that's currently live. I want to read off. And right now, so far, Dalton Connect leads. It's who should the Pistons draft? Modest, Berzelis, Dalton Connect, Cody Williams, or other. And right now, Dalton Knecht leads the poll 37%, and Berzelis and Williams are tied 22% each. And
You didn't want to put Willie, or you didn't put my guy in there.
Who?
Dillingham. Rob Dillingham. Dog.
I didn't know he'd be there. I'm gonna be honest. I put that before the draft.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, but I'm with you. I would not be upset, to be honest with you, because
I'm just waiting.
Again, he doesn't owe any of these players anything. He does not. He doesn't know. He's not going to sit here and be like, well, they have Ivy. I'm not going to take a guard. No, he didn't draft Ivy. He didn't draft any of these players. So it's who Trajan Langdon thinks is the best player. So, I mean, they haven't picked a player. They got a minute left, minute 50.
Yeah, Trajan's sweating on the phone right now. He's trying to make a deal. He's hoping that doesn't have to come to that time where he's got to put in the.
I'm turning off the chat here. I don't even.
Yeah, I turned the chat off. Jeff, you're like 10 seconds behind me. Like if you want to react, but you know what I mean? Don't.
You tell me who it is when you see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm behind you a little bit. I don't even see. I've been sitting here waiting to see at least pick is in, which there is no pick. There's no pick in yet.
I see Trajan Langdon dapping everyone up in the front office. Like he looks confident. He's happy. He looks happy. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Who is it? Who's coming to save this team?
Please give us something.
Nobody.
No, not literally. They're not going to save it by themselves, but please. I've had to endure through my broadcasting career.
Give us someone.
Just a trash Pistons team. Please, this has to be the start of something. Please, the pick is in, boys.
It's in.
Oh,
no trade.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I do see pick is in now. Trajan is calling someone. Please give us some. Just give me a shooter.
This is getting intense, boys.
Give me a shooter. I've got nothing over here. Don't connect.
That's what I'm hoping if it's anybody.
Hold on. Booner's looking across social media. Don't
Dillingham.
He's just saying
names. Don't fuck with me, man. This is not the time.
Come on, boys. Here we go.
Thought he was gonna say it.
No, not yet. I've got nothing yet. Come on, boys.
Trajan, please.
Give us someone.
I want some optimism, man. I've been fighting this battle for too long. I'm tired. I've been fighting this battle for too long, Trajan. Please.
I've got nothing over here yet.
Ron Holland's still there?
Don't look, Jeff. Don't look, Jeff.
Oh, please.
Jeff's looking. He knows.
No, I know. I'm behind. It's not close. You're farther ahead than me.
Oh my gosh. Look at it. Team needs. Number one thing, 3-point shooting. Yes. Don't connect. One of the best 3-point shooters. Rob Dillingham, 40+%.
Please.
Just give us a shooter.
Oh gosh, this is nerve-wracking. Like this, I'm more nervous than the Lions pick, if I'm being honest. This is like
this is way more what compared to like the Panay draft, where are you at mindset wise?
Similar that's a good comp. Because that was like the tone setter of the franchise.
Yeah.
You couldn't mess that up.
Come on. Give us the pick.
Jeff made it seem like you saw it. Jeff looks scarred right now.
I think Jeff saw it. I saw the pick through Jeff's screen.
Oh
no. All right, I think we got a dog.
I will say this.
Who is it? Announce the pick.
The pick is Ron Holland II. And I want to give some background on this. You got to stay with me, though. You got to stick with me for a little bit here. All right. Okay. So Ron Holland was the best player coming out of his class in high school, went to the G League. I think the best perimeter defender in the draft. I think you could argue, certainly. So he's got a lot of, we wanted OG for certain reasons. This is what he is. So value-wise, you're getting a very good player. Now, here's the kicker. Not the greatest shooter. So that's the other. I'm sorry. I got to throw that in there. Very good player. Like this to me, guys, I know you don't want to hear it. This is BPA to him, to Trajan, for sure. Because he's, in terms of pedigree, he had the best resume as a player. Obviously, #1 coming out, 5-star, all that. It's a good pick, But again, for people that want fit, he's a wing. But the shooting is something that people kind of do mention with Ron Holland. But that's a basic summary of the selection, if I had to give it to you.
How much do you think this impacts the potential next head coaching decision? Do you think this is a guy that can more Sweeney, or I know Borrego's been a name to mention, but he's also an offensive guy, so it might not be as attractive considering this is who you really have to develop around, given it's the first round pick.
So, okay. This it's, I don't know. I'm curious. Like, you play him and Sarr together, they both can't really shoot. So, and they're both athletic freaks. So you're getting athleticism, but you're not getting the 3-point shooting that we all desired initially. I know, like, he's not Dalton Connect. He's not any of these players that can shoot the ball.
Does that disappoint you at all? Like, to me, it's like, and I'm looking here at his G League stats. He shot 24% from 3, and that was that was one of the biggest needs on this team is shooting. It's like you have guys like Cade Cunningham, you have Jaden Ivey, who's extremely athletic, you have Asar Thompson, who just can't shoot, is more athletic than a shooter. So, like, you essentially just drafted another player that does the same thing as the other guys you have on your team, instead of going after someone that complements your team correctly. Like you said, Jeff, it seems like a best player available. He averaged 20 plus per game in the G League. So it's like, I don't know. It's an interesting pick to me because it seems like Trajan Langdon just kind of went, hey, we just want to get the best player that's available in this draft. We really don't care about fit or anything. But that seems to have been essentially what's been going on with the Detroit Pistons the last 4 years. So it feels like it's a similar situation to where you get a guy like, you're trying to build a team that makes sense. Get shooters, complement your star players, complement these players, and make an actual basketball team. But you just keep drafting the same style of player over and over and over. And I know Trajan's new to this, so he has nothing to do with the past. But that's what this feels like. So I mean, he's a very athletic player. He's big size, can defend, like you said, Jeff. But at some point, this team has to add shooting, and this team has to add something to complement Cade Cunningham and some of these like, you can't have Asar Thompson, Ron Holland, and Cade Cunningham as your 3 guards. That
would it be fair to say this? And I'm just playing devil's advocate here. When Brad says this, not comparing Brad to this, but Brad's philosophy, what did he say? He said the draft is for BPA, free agency is for filling needs. Do you think Trajan, without familiarity with the roster quite yet, he's going, okay, I'm taking the best player available, and then we'll fix the shooting in free agency? You think that's part of it?
If you're comparing it to Brad, I think Brad does it, but he also addresses best player available in positions where the team needs it. I don't think this is exactly a position of need for the Pistons. Like, to Booner's point, they already have tons of these players.
Yeah, it's like they need wings, but I get, like, Asar was kind of that, like, big athletic wing, can defend, can't really shoot. I get it. Like, I do. And again, they're looking at the Boston Celtics, and you see what those 2 guys are doing, wings, and you see what the Knicks just did, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, wings, and they're taking another wing, which, I'm okay with. It's just the part that, he's not the greatest shooter. I mean, on 3 attempts, he shot, a little over 20%? What'd you say, 27%?
24%.
Yeah,
over 3 attempts a game. So it's not like he's not shooting a lot. He's shooting over 3 threes a game. He's shooting 24%. There's no, like, to me, it's again, it's, I want someone who we know can shoot. Like, there were so many players in this draft who could probably score at a clip, like Ron Holland, like Rob Dillingham, and even like it's great, like a Cody Williams, and these guys. Obviously, they didn't, like, Cody Williams only averaged 12 or something in Colorado, but these guys can shoot the rock, and then they can play at a high level, and as well, like, you can, again, the defensive side of the ball, that'll take care of itself to an extent. But to me, it's just more so I want to add players that complement the team that you have currently. And to your point, Jeff, if Trajan's new, and maybe he doesn't know the team as well, so he just went BPA. I'm not, like, the only upside to me, it's hey, you do have a guy with a very high ceiling, essentially. And if he somehow does get a shot, but you guys know how I feel about guys that shoot under 27%. It's like I just, like, go look at a shot. It's not the greatest looking shot either. So it's I don't know if that's something you can ever develop, but you just have a player that's like the doc just put in there. He said he gives it a B. I would give it maybe a C plus, a C plus. That's what I would give this draft, this pick.
Where do you think that, like, because you talk about a first round pick, you expect them to at least raise the ceiling. And if they're not raising the ceiling of a team, they're elevating the floor. That was the whole thing with Dalton Connect. He can at least start and maybe not start, but contribute right away. So when you talk about a guy like Ron Holland, where does he really help this franchise long term?
I think he helps them immediately defensively, which I think and I trust me, I'm frustrated with his ability not to shoot. But I understand the pick because of the player he is, and what his background is, his resume, his pedigree. Like, I understand that. I think defensively he helps them immediately. So there's that. But man, I'll ask this again. Like, how do you put out a lineup with a Sarr and him on the floor together? Like, you got two wings that can't really shoot. Again, great defensively. That would be a terrifying two-wing look for opposing great offensive wings. Like, I understand that, but those two can't really shoot. Duren, if he's in your lineup, he can't shoot. And then you have Ivy as your second best shooter after K. Like, it's concerning,
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's where I'm at. We have to hope that he develops a shot, or a Sarr takes a significant jump, or both of them, preferably, man.
This makes me feel like, guys. It makes me feel like that Trey John's looking to trade some pieces, some younger guys. That's just because, again, to your point, Jeff, it's, can you play all of these same guys on the floor at the same time, and similar style of play with really no shooting on the floor, especially today's NBA? Probably not. So maybe it's something to where Trey Jones looked at this and he's already assessed the roster the last 3 or 4 weeks. These are the guys we want to stay with. These are the guys we want to move on with. How do we replace and fill in those holes? And that's Ron Holland is filling a hole that maybe he sees that he might want to get rid of and move on from. So I'm not saying that's a Sarr or anything, but maybe that's like a Jay Ivey. Maybe he has some deals set up for to move on with a Jay Ivey or move on with someone else. Or I know he has mentioned he wants to see how that works, but maybe there's something behind the scenes that we're looking at. Because like a Rob Dillingham, like I'm a little caught up on the Rob Dillingham. That's who I was kind of hoping.
Yeah, and
Saloon just went to the Hornets.
Charlotte.
Yeah, and he can shoot too. Like he's a big 6'8" guard kind of wing that has a shot as well. So
I'm gonna put a poll up.
Probably draft. Do you think he drafted the worst shooter out of?
I'd imagine within the top 10. I don't know how like Sarr and all those guys shoot, but given that they're big men, I don't know. But I mean, shooting, what do you say, 27%, whatever it was,
24.
24. It's just, I mean, you guys are way more diehard Piston fans than I am, but it's just aggravating to see. Like Booner, you said right before the pick was in, team needs number 1 3-point shooting, and now I mean, if you don't go all in and get some at least serviceable knockdown consistent shooters, this team's going to be in a very similar situation to what it was last season as far as what they need to do, what they need to accomplish. Because you can go and get the Joe Harrises, but they don't fucking work, they don't play. Now what?
Could you imagine if the Spurs take Dillingham and they take 2 guards?
Oh my gosh, I wouldn't be shocked. Or Dalton Connect,
an
like
intelligent organization. I mean, that's what they do.
That would be. I mean, they could just say F it and do it. I mean, he's still on the board. If you're going BPA, I mean, he's that. Oh yeah. I don't know. We'll do a whole breakdown and talk about it more tomorrow. I think Ron Holland as a player, again, I get that tells me him taking Ron Holland is BPA. Not factoring in though the shooting, which we talk about, but I would assume that, you're taking Ron Holland because he's the best player available, but he doesn't really give a damn about the shooting thing, which I don't know. I think it's a whole nother thing. So for the sake of Cade, you got to get some more shooting.
What do you think Cade's doing right now? What do you think Cade's doing?
Well, because let's say this, like if they bring in Tobias Harris for like 2 years, whatever, a 2-year deal, they start him in a Sarr and have Ron Holland off the bench. I mean, maybe you can, and then eventually Ron, as he gets better, you have to hope he can shoot. I mean, he can develop a shot. That's really what it comes down to.
How
I
tall is
love
he
hearing
again?
that Tobias name. Love hearing the Tobias name. 6'8".
Adam says Pistons timeline for getting out of the first round is likely another decade. Thanks, Jeff.
This is insane. I mean, I feel like this is just deja vu, guys. Like, again, this is remember the Killian draft, the first Troy Weaver draft. There was players on the board. To me, the players is like a Rob Dillingham, where you're like, oh, that's the obvious. Do it. That's the guy that you need. And then they zag, and Ron Holland, when no one really kind of even thought about that, and it's like, oh, Killian Hayes, no one even thought of that, and you do that, and it's like, okay, this is what are we doing here? Like, what are we doing here? This is not a good start.
I will say, and I have to watch here. Killian Hayes was way more like out of left field than Ron Holland. Like Ron Holland, like Killian Hayes, I was who? Like I had to look him up and be like, who? Ron Holland, like he was the best high school player in the country, you know. So but I get it.
That I don't really care about, if I'm being completely honest. I want the player like, what are you now? Like, what?
Well, he's a good player. He's a really good player. But the thing, shooting. I mean, that's.
And I saw a video of Alex Sarr playing against Ron Holland and locking him up,
Yeah, Alex Sarr.
But like,
it's really good.
Remember, there's levels, there's tiers, Booner.
Well, guess what? Guess what's really good, guys? Guess what's really good? NBA players playing in the NBA. So if you can't, you're going to have to play against Alex Sarr at some point in your career, correct? Yes. Who's going to win that battle?
I mean, Alex Sarr, he's like 7'1", freak. I mean, yeah, I would give that one to Alex Sarr. I would. I see ETN here. Jesus, Jeff is making himself look like a real cuck right here. The red flags have been endless, and he still can't let it go. Shame to see, man. I honestly, I'm
coping,
looking at
Jeff. Are you coping?
No, because again, I admit it stinks. Like you wanted shooting, but again, do I think that Ron Holland's going to be Killian Hayes? No, I don't. And remember, I mentioned it, how important this draft pick was for Trajan. Imagine Dalton Connect is his pick, right? Let me just give you an idea.
Okay.
Like at 5, he takes Dalton Connect.
That's what I ideally wanted.
So let me put the scenario in your head. He is a career 10 points a game guy. We're gonna look back and say he nailed that. Like when there's like 4 or 5 guys that, let's say there's like 2 to 3 after him that become really good players, or like maybe fringe all-stars. Like just because we wanted shooting so bad, like we're gonna be like, great pick. He's like a 10 point a game guy for the rest of his career. Like I don't know.
And that's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think at least if he were to turn into that 10 point a game guy, you can look back and you'd be like, well, they need 3-point shooting bad. They needed that. Defensively, yeah, the Pistons obviously need more of it, but they need shooting more than that. So if you talk about Ron Holland, if he doesn't pan out, then you're even more like, what the fuck were they thinking here? So that's where it's just like they're taking it to Booner's point. He's been dropping the bar. You can zig or you zag, and the Pistons, they've been zagging lately, and it just seems like it's another one of those things. They keep going down the same alley. It's just like hitting a brick wall. It's insanity.
Yeah, the shooting, man. I understand. I do. I said if you're gonna get Dalton, you trade back. I did say that, you know. But we got Gentry.
The Pistons critique.
Why do you hate the pick, Gentry?
To be honest, it's better than Matas or whatever his name is. I always pronounce it wrong, but I just really didn't want him. But obviously, I kind of been listening while I was doing the graphics and whatnot. He can't shoot, and he's still really young. I mean, obviously, he's only 18 years old, so he could still develop. But I feel like this pick pushes the Pistons timeline back farther than some of the other guys that you could have gotten that could have maybe made a bigger impact right now. And then the other thing wasn't he supposed to like not even go in the top 10? Why didn't you just trade back and like gain some assets and then draft him? Like, was he even rumored to be in this top 5 at all? Jeff?
Yes, he was. At least from what I've seen, he was. But
I just seen his over under or something. Someone posted on Twitter was like 9.5 or 11.5 or something like that. So if he was rumored to go in that area, you couldn't. What's up?
I would say we were talking about it before. It's just because I asked Jeff, like, try to tier the players, and he's like, once you get past like pick 4, it's the same tier. So if you're a GM trying to trade up, why are you trading up for a player that you can get in similar tier at pick 9, 10, and give up assets to go to pick 5 and get a similar tier player?
That's where
it makes sense, but
that's where it gets tricky.
Klingman, I know that a lot of people were trying to trade up and get him at 5. I mean, obviously he just fell to Portland at 7, but I feel like if anyone remotely called you, you should have answered the phone.
I think he did. I think he did. If I'm being honest, I'm going to try and I do think he took calls. I mean, they took a while to put the pick in. I think he answered calls, or at least tried not answer. I think he actually went out and called and was like, hey, anybody want the pick? Anyone want this pick? And I think people are like, no, I'm cool. Like if I'm Portland, I'm like, no, we'll just take him at 7. Like I'll just take
313 and put that shit to voicemail.
Oh man, hey, don't worry though, guys. Tobias Harris is in the chat saying Tobias is going to be the savior. He's going to get you to 30 wins. That man is going to cook, man. And it's the tweet that I got. Shout out Sean. Shout out Sean. I got the tweet from Sean today. OG Anunoby, he's the 4th option with the Knicks, and he just signed for $40 million a year. So I guess OG Anunoby is the same level as Tobias Harris. So like that would have been the same signing to some people. So
the votes are in. I put
interesting.
I put a poll in the chat.
Nothing, Jeff?
Well,
nothing. Just ignore it. All right. Yeah.
He just moved on.
Yeah, he just quickly just said, I'm not talking. This organization.
I mean, yeah. I said it. I don't. The pick. I understand it. He can't shoot. That's what we all prioritized, shooting. So I do. I understand it. I put a poll to grade the pick. The people have voted. We have over 100 votes. A, B, C, or D/F. 35% leading all the rest of the selections is C. 35%.
Yeah,
B is 28%. A is 11%, and D/F is 27%. So basically mid.
Yeah, chat voted mid.
Yeah, that's where we're at. I see someone use the Tom Gores meme.
Yeah, dude, it's so good.
I love the people are using that now. I think we got it cooking. I think we got that one cooking. I swear, I think we did. We'll take credit for that one.
I'm just trying to think of like the moves that could be following this, just because it doesn't make complete sense, and there was players that made sense for what you needed. So I feel like he's got to have something where it's like, all right, we're gonna eat the bullet with this, take the noise with the draft, but we just got to find a way to kind of even everything out. So there's got to be a move cooking soon, at least from the offensive perspective. You can't roll out there thinking that this is going to be helping you. I know they're obviously going to be signing free agents, but I mean, we talked about how weak this free agent class is. I don't think there's going to be anything significant outside if you bring in Tobias, which I know me and Booner aren't fans of, but Jeff, you brought up the point if it's a need, but for how long? And you're just going to be in the same situation where you're looking for offense.
Yeah, I mean, you're really asking. I mean, they signed, they brought in Fred Vincent, who's a shooting coach, one of the best shooting coaches in the NBA. But you're really asking this man to cook. Like, that's what this comes down to. He's got to cook. Yeah, like he's going to give that man an hour by hour salary and give him extra OT money. I mean, he's going to have to teach Sarr, improve his shot significantly, improve Holland's shot, improve Ivy's shot.
There's only so many hours in a day, Jeff.
I know, but he's
seriously fair, Booner.
I mean, I said it yesterday. When you have a guy that shoots 20-something%, like I've been in basketball my whole life, and I'm sure anyone in the chat who's been around high-level basketball, like you either have a shot or you don't. You can develop and change shots and kind of mix and match, but you're not going from 24% to 37%. That will not happen. That, like, I don't know where like development, and if that happens, that's because the shot selection gets changed and you shoot less threes, and they say, hey, don't shoot the rock, please. So like now you're sitting in a spot to where you're sitting here saying, oh, you could develop, and they all over Twitter right now. Oh, all he needs to do is develop a shot. Okay, all Killian Hayes needed to do was develop a shot. All Sarr needs to do is develop a shot. All this guy needs to do is develop a shot. So like, yeah, the upside is great, but just for me, it's like, are we going to go fit or are we going to go BPA? Fit, BPA. What do you guys want to do? I think the last few years with Cade and Ivy and all those, you went BPA. Now it's, and I know what you're going to say, Jeff. Rob Dillingham, the guy that I wanted at 5th overall, just went to the Spurs.
What if the Spurs take 2 guards, maybe?
And they just got that much better with Wemby.
Jeff, you're
Spurs.
tonight.
Every single team that we've been doing rebuilds with, the Houston Rockets, about to take a step forward. The San Antonio Spurs, I know they got Wemby, but guess what? The other players that they drafted are going to be better than our whole roster outside of Wemby.
Well,
they're getting better.
You know what?
What are we doing here? What is this franchise doing? It's cool. We got Trajan Langdon. He's
this is
great job.
You know what? I think we should bring in the voice of reason a little bit. Bring in Pistons Talk, our good friend Anthony Colombo. He just get his thoughts live here on Crunch Time. Get a little bit of a breakdown what he thinks of Ron Holland and who was on the board. So please welcome to the show the man, the myth, the legend, Anthony Colombo, aka Pistons Talk. Anthony, welcome to the program.
I'm so glad I'm home. I'll just say that first and foremost.
What do you think, Anthony? Ron Holland?
I'm not surprised by it. I'm not. It kind of, if you go back and look at Trajan Langdon during his time in New Orleans, this is kind of the archetype he goes for, kind of those lengthy, defensive-minded wings.
Herb Jones.
Yeah, I know. I heard Booner. I get it. I get where he's coming from. If they went BPA, you're going to go BPA when you won 14 fucking games. I'm sorry. You're not going to go for fit.
What do you think, Boone?
No, I think that's fair. I've been in Anthony. I'm sure you've watched. I've just been so high on just adding shooting and adding just complementary pieces with Cade and Jaden Ivey. Like if that's who they want to roll with, if Trajan made it seemed like clear. Hey, we want to try it with these two guys. All right, let's get some compliments around him. I think Ron Holland. Like, say you didn't have Jaden Ivey, I think that's a good pick. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I think that's a similar type of player, but maybe you could even argue a ceiling and maybe a little. Similar.
Well, Anthony, what's the vision here in your opinion? Like, because we talked about, we were just talking about it earlier. If you have a lineup of Cade, Ivey, Holland, Sarr, and Duren, you can't really do that until at least what's the long term vision? You think? I mean, you need Sarr, Fred Vincent to work overtime and develop some shots here.
Yeah, no pun intended right there with the Sarr. I would say you're not going to play them both right away because it doesn't make sense from a spacing perspective. I think what you'll see is you'll either see Ron Holland in the starting lineup or Sarr Thompson. And I think why that's valuable is you're going to have a defender in the starting lineup or off the bench. Now, where I see kind of Ron Holland as a player, he kind of plays that between that small forward and power forward. The one thing that I really like about him, and if you guys watch the tape, watching games on him, this guy is just such an elite cutter. He can move so well without the basketball, and you watch his jump shot. I actually believe in the jump shot. I think the mechanics are good. I think it's just he was playing on a really crappy team in the G League Ignite. Didn't make a whole lot of sense from a roster construction standpoint, but I'm pretty high on this pick. I know Booner, I get what you're saying. Like, you want to add more shooting around Cade Cunningham and company, but they have $64 million in cap space to do that in free agency. And I think that's where they'll spend a majority of their money to address the shooting.
And Anthony, when you look, Rob Dillingham just going to the Spurs, when you see that, and then you see Ron Holland go to the Pistons, how does that make you feel, especially when you just brought up the shooting that they do need? Does that, like, God damn it, this is going to be another pick that we look back on and regret, or do you still sit with a little bit of confidence? Like, all right, we'll be fine. It's just going to need some time.
I'll start with Dillingham. It's kind of wild that the Spurs win 2 point guards in this draft. I know. I think they're just covering their ass just in case one of them's a bust, personally. I like Dillingham. My only concern with him coming out of the draft was being just a negative defender. He wasn't really the defender that I think a lot of people talk about. Reed Sheppard was actually a better defender than Rod Dillingham. Rod Dillingham can shoot, though. But you already have a lot of guards. You have Jaden Ivey, you have Cade Cunningham. Rod Dillingham is a guy that needs the ball in his hand. So if you were to draft Rod Dillingham, then you kind of have to ask yourself, well, what are we doing with Ivy? What are we doing with Cade? Because this guy is kind of like a Darius Garland, if you will. In terms of the Rod Dillingham pick, I think we'll be fine, Lucas. I really do. I think this is a guy that was really highly recruited out of high school. He did slip. He had a little bit of struggles in the G League Ignite to start off, going from, high school to, shooting pro level threes and playing against grown men in the G League is a big step. I think it's a little bit above at the college level. The G League is no joke. There are some guys in there that are 8, 9, 10-year pros that are just hungry, trying to get an opportunity. I think Ron will come in, be fine. I know Pistons fans are probably really pissed off right now, and I understand it, but just know this guy was very highly recruited coming out of high school, and it shouldn't deter fans that, you know, he didn't go as high as the mocks had him going, you know, 2-3, slipping the 5.
Real quick update, just an update. Rob Dillingham is now a Minnesota Timberwolf.
Yeah, it's got traded.
He was just traded to the
Huge for them.
Timberwolves. And also Zach Edey. Remember, Anthony? We did that alternate pick draft. He actually went to the Grizzlies, so he went even higher. Remember, we were joking around. I had him in the lottery. He went higher than that. Grizzlies take Edey, pick 9.
That's interesting. Dillingham going to Minnesota. I kind of like that for Minnesota. Because Mike Conley's like what, 50? They're going to need
very fine player.
He is. They're going to need a new point guard. I love that. You got dogs with Anthony Edwards and Rod Dillingham, but Zach Edey to Memphis. I'm surprised, man. I'm surprised that's the center they went with. I probably would have went Khalil Ware if it was me personally, but good for Memphis getting Zach Edey.
Yeah, I don't know about Edey. I get why, like, you take him for obvious. I mean, especially at the combine, he was shooting the ball, but I don't know. Something tells me that I don't know. A defender, absolute day one, 7'2". He'll be able to block shots for you, and that's probably what they're looking for, obviously. But man,
what's his comp for you, Jeff?
I don't. Yeah, that's like the hard part. Is like, what does Edey look like at his best? Like that, I don't know. To be honest with you, I really.
Well, you know what it does for that team if it's a need, right? They needed to add a center to that team, and you know they went need. I guess they do have John Morant, so they do have players, but
and they got Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean that'll be if they both pan out. Him and Jaren Jackson will be. That's going to be a hard front court to try to get a bucket on.
Tough
front court.
It's a tough team in general. If Edey ends up working out like people think, that him, Desmond Bane, you have they have Marcus Smart still, John Morant.
I forgot about Desmond Bane.
It's a tough five there.
I've always just admired the way that Memphis builds a basketball team. I just think it's like because. Yeah, they've never. But obviously, when Ja was peaking, they were a serious team. They were a higher ranking team in the West, but they're never just completely ass. Like they're always just in the kind of 500 range, but they're never an embarrassment of an organization for how small of a market that they do have.
Yeah, and you hit on players that they go from the era we talked about the other day to now with Ja, and Ja's holding up pistols, and now he's going to be back. There's a lot of. I think the Zach Edey pick will be interesting. I don't know what to really make of it. He went way higher than I honestly expected him to. The Utah Jazz are up. Maybe Cody Williams is in play here. I mean, he's still on the board. Modest is still here. Remember?
Yeah, he's fallen.
He's fallen a little bit. Mike, I see you over there, Mike. What do you think of all this, Mike? What are you thinking? Look at you.
What was that?
I don't know. Just I don't know. Zach Edey.
Anthony, I just wanted to ask you. Kind of your view of the pick. Did you kind of view it as like a reach, or did you expect him to go in the top 5, or do you think obviously the situation probably wasn't available for someone to trade up, or no one was calling or whatnot, or no one was answering the phone rather, but do you view the pick as a reach?
I don't, but I actually thought that he was going to trade down because he got on the phone and then he kind of walked out of the camera view. I was like, okay, they're trading down because Memphis was trying to trade up to 5. That was the reporting. But I think it's a good pick. You talk to any NBA draft, just analysis, they had Ron Holland as high as 2 on their big board. A lot of these draft analysis are really high on Ron Holland, just as a defender, as a connector, as a guy that runs in transition. I just think he's going to be a really good pick, and he's going to surprise some people just the way that he can pass, the way he can cut, defend, protect the rim, play multiple positions, defend multiple positions. And this is a Detroit Pistons team. It was one of the worst defensive teams in the NBA. So you are getting a need here, if you ask me.
Cody Williams is now with the Utah Jazz.
Utah. I hate that for him.
Yeah.
What if Dalton Kennedy?
Do you think this pick kind of gives a little bit of a hint in the way that Trajan is going to go about who he picks as the head coach? Because I know we brought up Sweeney and Borrego, and now taking a defensive player. Do you think that kind of points in one direction?
I think it depends on philosophy, how they want to build this roster. Now, we could use Ron Holland as an example. He's a transition player. James Borrego loves playing the transition game. He loves, just run and gun, 3-man offense, just, kick out 3-pointers like that. That's his style. I think you could definitely look at a Ron Holland and say, okay, Pistons are looking for more of an offensive minded coach. Sarr, Jaden Ivey, Ron Holland, they love running in transition. But to your point, and I talked about this yesterday, the Pistons just hired Dennis Lindsey, who comes from Dallas, and Sean Sweeney is an assistant in Dallas. So it's a very hard question to answer. I know I'm giving you like a bullshit answer, but I really don't know where they're going to go, because Woj said that was just the first cycle of head coaches that we heard of. From what I've heard, they might not hire a coach until like second week in July. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there.
Okay.
Hey, too, I want to ask this. Do you think, Anthony, and you might have already kind of touched on it a little bit, but do you think now that Ron Holland's been drafted, and obviously we know, like, I think it made it clear, obviously the shooting is the issue, and we can try and hopefully that gets better, but being that he's a similar player to some of these guys that we do have on this team, do you think Trajan ends up making a move? Do you think this is like kind of sets up for him to say, like, let's move on from a couple guys? And
I would say Quentin Grimes stays are numbered in Detroit. I'll tell you that, because I don't really think you need a Quentin Grimes and a Ron Holland on your basketball team, even though, Quentin Grimes he's a good 3-point shooter. But if you look at the numbers, you look at his stats throughout the years, he's just progressively gotten worse. You could say that's injuries. You could say that's playing time. You could say that's playing for Tom Thibodeau, playing 48 minutes a night. Like, you could say like a whole bunch of things, but I honestly think that I don't really think there's a need for Quentin Grimes, and don't be surprised if Tim Hardaway Jr. rumors started heating up again pretty soon.
Well, you have at least next the Bulls are picking, then the Thunder, a player that we've mentioned before, Dalton Connect. Mike, you just put in the chat, and we agree, because I was thinking that as the picks were kind of coming up here. You think Dalton Connect? I think the Thunder. I don't know if it's Sam Presti. Maybe he's not always the caliber of player, like the type of player that he would take. But he would look good in a Thunder uniform, though. They could use the shooting. So I don't know. Dalton Connect go here the next couple of picks. I wouldn't be shocked. What do you think?
I think Matas goes to Chicago.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, he's from there, ain't he?
I have no idea. All I know is he didn't know the Cade Cunningham draft. He called it the Jalen Green draft. So if you guys want to hate on him in the chat, now you guys can hate him in the chat. And he ate like a Chicago style pizza and he put like pickles on it. So I was just like, dude, this guy
he's from Chicago. Well, he's from Illinois. So you know what? Just yeah. I mean, his parents played basketball professionally in Lithuania, but then he came here and settled in the Chicago area. So you just not even knowing, you just maybe it might be spot on here. It'd be the hometown guy. Yeah, that would be a Bulls. That would be a Bulls pick right there. That would be on brand. It'd be like another Patrick Williams, like a guy you just look at and you're like, he should work out, and he just doesn't.
I mean, they got Josh Giddey now, which I don't understand, but hey, it's Chicago.
I forgot they got the Giddey train over there now. For Caruso, too, that's such a fleece. That was a great trade for OKC.
If Connect even falls to Sacramento, I'm going to be pissed because they get Connect and Keegan Murray, and we get Jaden Ivey and Ron Holland. So
I love your mindset, Gentry.
I will always be fucking salty. So,
well, do you think Trajan Langdon will trade back into the first? Is that possible? Do we have even the assets to be able to make a move like that? Like Troy, every year, I think he's gotten 2 first round. He's traded into the first. Like, if Dalton Connect starts to fall, are you like, hey, let's get back in here? It's cheaper. Let's do it.
Let me say this. OKC has been a team that's called about Isaiah Stewart multiple times, and they're going to be on the clock pretty soon.
Oh,
if you want to possibly throw Isaiah Stewart in there, he just signed his extension, 4 years, $64 million. Maybe you can trade back up and get Dalton Connect if you really feel he can make an impact to this team. And like Gentry said, he's one of the best shooters in this draft behind Reed Sheppard.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. I think that's a good way to go get a shooter and add to this team. You might have to move on. A lot of people might. I don't know if a lot of people like Isaiah Stewart. Like if he is kind of a fan beef stew. People love him, but I'm at the point, and I think Trajan is to Jeff's point. Is Trajan's not personally connected to anyone on this team? Maybe like Cade Cunningham because he's your best player, but he's not personally connected to anyone. So that's something to where you might see guys traded. That's how I look at it. And if you can kind of move on from someone to upgrade it in different spots and add in different, I would do it.
Another player
to that point though is just like the whole team shot bad. So like that's not that shouldn't be a proud thing that Isaiah Stewart is one of the best shooters on your team at all, like in my opinion.
Well, I will add this to another player, Nikola Topic, that he was mocked as early as like top 5.
Yeah,
and he had that partial ACL tear, Anthony, and now he hasn't been selected yet.
I mean, we did select him in our mock in the lottery.
You know what? We might have been cooking. You know what? We actually remember we even talked about it. We're like, that's weird, but no, maybe it's not. He hasn't been picked yet. I don't think he will be in the next couple of picks. At least
I think it's because he's going to have to sit out for the whole season. I believe, or it's going to be like a whole basically a redshirt year in the NBA for him.
Yeah, people were gushing. I mean, he's good. I mean, I get the injury. Though.
Have you guys heard Topic talk before?
No.
He sounds like one of those robot calls when you get it. Like his voice just sounds fake. Like YouTube it, like an interview. Like he's got the weirdest voice.
Yeah, Eddie, partial ACL tear, awkward voice. Yeah, get him out of here. Not a first round pick. Modest goes to Chicago. That's the selection. 2023 McDonald's All-American, number 5 recruit. Wasn't Holland? What was Holland? The best? Was he the best player coming out of high school, or second, or he was up there? That's what I was mentioning earlier. I remember seeing something.
I think I just seen a tweet that he was.
Yeah, but and he was really good last year. Him and Modest played together. Oh man, just can't shoot.
I know this is kind of off topic, but just because I've always been a guy that's been a critique of him. What's the lifespan of Lonzo Ball in Chicago? Because I know that he was rumored to come back this season, but I mean, how much more does this man have left to give? I feel like every year, like it's the return of Lonzo Ball for about 3 months, and then it's again back to Lonzo Ball out season long. Complication with surgery.
It's felt like 3 years, hasn't it? It's like I feel for him, but I had read that he got donated like a meniscus or an ACL from like a transplant. Because his
it's time to hang it up.
Yeah, like,
nuts.
He's got a fake knee.
I don't know. From all the workout videos that I've seen, it looks like he's rehabbing, he's getting better, but it's just like if he's a guy that you think is close to coming back, why would you trade for Josh Giddey? Like, why would you do that if you're not 100% sure he's ready to come back when they play a very similar style, except Josh Giddey looks like a stick figure dribbling the basketball. But, I mean, other than that, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if he's going to come back.
Jesus.
I called my shot with De'Aaron Fox. I love De'Aaron Fox coming out, and I hated Lonzo.
Anthony, who are you expecting here for OKC to pick here at 12 now that they're on the clock? I mean, they got Dalton Connect, obviously number 1 on the board. I don't know if there's anyone else that you see out there that may fit what they're looking for.
They might go center depth because they got killed in the playoffs. Like they might go Ron Holmes, they might go Khalil Ware, or to your point, they might just draft Dalton Connect because he's slipping in this draft. So if I had to guess, probably center depth.
Yeah, I think I had Edie to the Thunder in our alternate pick draft for that reason. But I'm curious. I didn't expect Dalton to fall this far.
Yeah, I mean, this is insane.
Thought it'd be closer to 10, but we're at 12. And he's not picked.
Do you think it's just because he's defensively such a liability?
No, it's also. I mean, partially, he's 23 years old, a little older. Like there's some things. I mean, people again, upside NBA draft. You're looking to draft guys that you believe can become really good players. And not that Dalton Connect can't, but yet they factor in age.
Well, what's going to happen?
What is Dalton? I'll ask you if you for people that are fit. What does Dalton Connect look like at his best? Like that's what I would ask you, and that's probably what GMs have to think about. Like, what is Dalton Connect's, ceiling?
Duncan Robinson. Like
Yeah,
Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero archetype, just like a movement shooter. When I was talking to Bryce Simon from Motor City Hoops, who does a lot of draft analysis with Sam Vecini, he was very low on him because he didn't really buy the offense. He didn't buy the shot. Because if you look before he went to Tennessee, he was kind of playing low-level D2. He didn't really buy Dalton Connect as a prospect at the next level. And that's someone who I really respect. And like when he told me that, I was like, well, maybe, he can't be the player that a lot of people are kind of perceiving him to be at the NBA level. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens with him.
Yeah.
Dalton Connect's going to be one of those guys, though, I feel like he's falling right now. Imagine at 15 he ends up falling to the Miami Heat or something like that, and then you end up like the fact that he's falling right now is he's getting out of the lottery to where those are all teams to where like the ceiling does matter essentially, like to develop guys like those teams, that's what it matters. But when you start falling out of the lottery, those are teams that are playoff teams who you're going into actually a way better situation. The Heat, the Sixers, the Lakers at 17. Like if he gets put on one of those teams, like that ends up being great for his career because instantly he's in a good position. And being 23 years old and who he is, like I've always thought he was a guy that's going to be able to make some sort of impact instantly on a team, especially on a contending team, because you're going to need someone that can knock down shots and kind of like you said, like a Duncan Robinson who's able to knock shots down in big games. And that's, to me, that's a Dalton Connect. He's not going to go out there and average 20 in the NBA, but he's going to average 12 and he's going to hit the shots when you need it. He's going to be a playmaker. That's why I did like him for the Pistons, because it complements well with the Cade. But if he keeps falling and he ends up on one of these contending teams, I think that's like perfect spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting interesting now. It's getting interesting. I mean,
Phil had an underrated comment.
Gentry, what was it?
Gentry would probably laugh at that when it's a hockey joke. Phil had a comment.
Wait, where's Phil? Where is it? Oh. There you go, Phil. So Detroit gets a Holland and an Edmonton. I mean, we have some donations as well. Ed O'Neill, thank you for the $2. Says I don't listen for 2 days and Jeff's hair is gone. Yeah, well, welcome back. Loretta, Loretta, we appreciate the $5. Says this pick makes me think Ivy or Thompson's moving. Moving as in getting traded? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. But again, I mean, Trajan doesn't. Again, we talk about it. He doesn't really own any of these players, anything. But I don't know. I don't think he would. I don't know. Trajan, I guess you really don't know what he's thinking.
I mean, these aren't his guys. So
yeah,
I mean, Ron Holland's his guy. So you're gonna have to wait and see what happens. I mean, he could trade up back in the first round, but you never really know. I think Sarr and Ivy. He talked about Ivy and Cade as a backcourt, something that he was intrigued with. He wants to see if something's there. Obviously, that was a big reason why they got rid of Monty Williams, because Monty Williams wanted to play Killian Hayes, who just got cut from the French national team today. So shout out.
I can't believe that, dude. Jesus. And that's why this draft.
You can't believe it, Jeff?
I
can't believe it.
I can. But it just thinking about that was Troy's first pick in his tenure. Like, hey, boys, we're taking Killian Hayes. And that's why this pick is so important for Trajan, because it's
right behind
you. Select the topic.
That's the Sam Presti pick.
I tried to do it on cue with that.
That's value.
Yeah,
that's value at 12. You take the best player available, and that's the best player available right there.
Yeah, but BPA when you already have a nice team put together. Sorry.
Long ways away, Boone. Long ways away.
Yeah.
I respect that you're still sporting the hat, though, Boone. We'll say that.
Yeah, no, I will. I made the promise. I said I won't talk Pistons or support Pistons until they fire Troy Weaver or sell the team, and they did.
I got drafted by Crunch Time. Let's go, boys.
Get your merch. Get your merch.
I feel like Modest right now. He's like sitting there like just sitting with his hat. This is me when I got this hat. Boy. Get your the flex fit. A lot of shit's already happening that I didn't expect. Modest falling into the teens and Dalton Connect not being taken yet. Now, well, there you have it. We'll see.
He's going to Sacramento. It's It's gonna
You think
happen.
so? They re-signed Malik
I
Monk.
don't know. I was just saying the way the shit works out for Pistons fans, he'll end up in Sacramento.
I could see them taking Jacoby Walter because it's just a Kings thing to do. Just draft another guard.
Yeah, like that's what they traded away Tyrese and took. Who was the guard they took that year?
Davion Mitchell.
Yes. Yeah.
Great defender. Great defender.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And it ends there. Yeah.
National champion.
Yeah, it's just,
And it ends. The
Yeah,
buck
it's just-
stops there.
it's just 5 feet tall. That's not his fault. Like if he was 6'5", he'd probably be like one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah. Yeah. That was.
Who do you think's the most like eyebrow raising pick so far in the draft? Is it Ron Holland?
I would probably say TJ Salon from the Hornets.
Setting them up. Who?
Who is it?
TJ Salon from the Hornets. I was kind of surprised by that.
Okay.
Yeah, he went higher than I thought. Thought he'd be like in the teens, maybe like early teens. But hey, it's the Hornets, right? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't have the right to say that. I get that.
They're
I
like
understand
the
that.
most
But it is the
annoying
Hornets.
organization just to watch from afar. I can't stand the Hornets. Couldn't tell you why. They're just mid at everything at their peak.
Where did you guys in your mock draft that you two did? Where did you have Devin Carter going, the guard from Providence?
I could look it up real quick.
I don't think we had him in our lottery, but he was someone that's like fringe lottery, in my opinion. Like he's
Devin Carter, he's good.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, I was just like looking at
Way
the
player.
lines beforehand, and he was like minus 400 to go in the top 10.
Yeah, no, he's
Devin-
someone that's dropping right now too.
Yeah.
He's like a two-way player that's kind of
Yeah.
elite at both ends of the floor.
Yep. Yeah, he
So I'm a little shocked at that.
that's why this draft is so hard. I mean, it like I said, after Alex Sarr and Zachary Risache, it's open. You know, anyone could go anywhere.
I think some of these teams, guys, like the Kings playoff team, the Heat playoff team, Sixers, Lakers, they're gonna end up getting some good players here. They're gonna end up getting some players that are actually gonna make an impact, in my opinion. Like I know this isn't like the deepest draft. I do think some of these guys are like Jared McCain. I've already said how I don't know, Anthony, how high you are on Jared McCain. I really like Jared McCain coming out of Duke. Like I think he's a high level shooter, a scorer. You put him in a position in Los Angeles or Sacramento or Miami, that's a guy that's going to put up not numbers like 20 a game, but he's going to be a great role player in a playoff run next year. And same with Dalton Connect and like these guys that are falling right now, falling to these. I don't know. Where you guys at with that? Where you at?
I think correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony. I think Jared McCain or any guard. I think a guard. They would look great in Miami. If I'm Miami,
If Jared McCain slips to Miami, everyone's just gonna be kicking themselves.
Yeah,
he's just a bucket, and Bub Carrington too. Like
Yep.
I'm surprised he slipped in the draft. It sounds like the Kings are going to take Devin Carter though, which
that's huge for them. I think.
Yeah,
and Devin Carter's good. But yeah, that is
another guard for them to kind of put off the bench. That's a good guard to have.
Yeah, I think Jared McCain in Miami would be it's a good pick. Portland. What do you think? I mean, at this point, Portland needs. They took who they take Klingon, right? They took Klingon already.
Yes.
which
So-
that's a good pick for them, but they're probably going to move on from DeAndre Ayton eventually because why not?
Yeah.
Like
Maybe.
they're a weird team. I mean, I think Jeremy Grant probably gets moved this week. I think Ayton could probably get moved this week. I mean, they traded for Denny Avdia, which I thought was a really good trade. And then the Wizards got 2 firsts for Denny, and the Pistons waived Killian Hayes for nothing. So shout out to the Pistons.
Hey,
maybe
can
Miami.
I,
No, go
Anthony? Can I get your thoughts on the Tobias Harris thing? I got in an absolute battle yesterday with Jeff and Sean about it. I just wanted your thoughts, just honest opinion.
Okay, so I watched the video, and I was upset that I couldn't be there with Sean, but I get it. I think if you're the Pistons and you need more forward help, Tobias Harris, the Pistons should go into free agency and have a number for Tobias Harris. If it exceeds over $20 million, walk away, go after Najee Marshall. Like, that's where I'm at with it.
So we're on the same page. That was my whole argument yesterday. Was I'm just not willing to spend the money on a guy like Tobias. That's just where I'm at with it. It has nothing. I said it yesterday. Had nothing to do with who Tobias is as a player. It's just I'm not willing to go years into the contract and 20 plus 25 million and say here's a deal. We're gonna tie ourselves into this. I would rather start kind of going through, bringing on 1-year contracts and getting assets and kind of rebuilding from there. That's just where I was at. I'm not willing, like the money side of things doesn't intrigue me when it comes to Tobias. If you have to pay him any sort of big time money.
I will say with Tobias, I don't think he's going to get the bag that Pistons fans are like. I saw Easy on Twitter yesterday or this past week, just like get dogged by Pistons fans. I don't think Tobias Harris is getting $40-50 million. I think those days are over.
I'm not paying him 25 though.
That's what I said. 15 to 20 would be my cutoff. If it gets any more than that, it would be a short-term deal, like 2 to 3 years, like 2 years for 40. Or aside for the mid-level exception, I would be happy with that. I would take him at that. But I don't know. I would let Utah go after him. If Utah really wants Tobias, go for it.
Yeah, he's not a player you're fighting. You're out there swinging for. But I argue with me and Booner disagree with. Booner understands he'll help. I don't think that's Booner's point. His point is just, he doesn't fit the timeline, and obviously the price point matters to Booner, which I think is fair. My argument was, hey, this team's bad. He could shoot.
Yeah, it just to me, it seems like a lot of Pistons fans, a lot of people they're looking like, hey, we just want to get to 25 wins, 30 wins. I'm more so looking at it is how can we build this roster to get to 40 in the next 3 or 4 years, and to me, it's getting Tobias at 25 million for the next 3 years. That doesn't really short term, you might get to 20 wins next year and it looks good because you had an improvement. But long term wise, it's really helping the franchise get to that 40 wins and becoming a playoff team and a contender in the next 4 or 5 years. Probably not, right? I think that's how I look at it.
Boone, it makes things tricky too because now you have OG returning. You have Nick Claxton returning. You have all these top.
You do, yes, but again,
out of the picture now.
To me, that's when you turn over to let's take, just like Trajan Langdon said in the press conference, let's take on expiring contracts, get some vets in here, and then we can build assets up. And if some of these contracts that are expiring that we end up liking some of these guys and they contribute to the future, then you re-sign them. But if not, you have assets and you're able to kind of go from there and you have more flexibility. Similar to what kind of I don't want to even use that example. Cut that at the end. We're live. But you guys see what I'm saying here? It's just, for me, it's more strategic. It feels like in the past, it's always been, let's just go sign a long-term vet for 3 years. And does this really help out your franchise? No. Go look at some of the other teams around the league that have gone from worse than the league to contenders. They've kind of gone through it the right way. That's how I look at it.
I see Tyler says Ron Holland should be a good transition player. He also responded to the Duncan Robinson. He's no Duncan Robinson, just watching some highlights. Well, the highlights.
Hey, we've got 5 guys that can run a transition. Imagine that fast break. All 5 guys.
Yeah, but you better hope it's a fast break, and then once everything slows down, and now you got guys spotting up at 3-point line, maybe you're a little more.
Yeah, no, that was just a sarcastic comment. I apologize if you didn't get that.
No, I get it. I trust you. I saw
Washington.
right. What'd you say, Mike?
So this, no, I was just confused. I forgot this Portland's pick right now is Washington's pick.
Yeah, they traded back up into the first round. Yeah. So, I mean, Trey Weaver's already cooking in Washington, it looks like. Got his center and
yeah. Troy Weaver, don't let him cook, huh? Come on, Mike.
That man loves trading up. That man loves it.
Take your boy here, don't connect, huh? Make him a wizard.
I would actually kind of be a little.
They got Corey Kisper, Dalton Connect, just a bunch of white dudes that can shoot, huh? Come on.
Guess who's up at 15? The
Who?
Miami Heat.
Oh, I thought you were breaking something. I thought the Pistons traded up.
On,
I think Jared McCain to the Heat makes a lot of sense, Boone.
I think it happens. I think Jared McCain or Dalton Connect, one of those 2 guys. Those are guys that are both ready to go now and ready to kind of make an impact.
Yeah, let Troy cook. Yeah. I just saw Mark Ryan's tweet. I want to pull this up while we're kind of chilling here. This is unbelievable. Let's see.
No. What did he say?
Let me just pull this up. We can react to this.
We lost Anthony.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
Slayer.
All right, look at this. Wait, hold on. Look at Mark Ryan. Hold on, let me. Okay.
This tweet had me dead.
So Natalie says, explain this draft pick to me in NFL terms. And Mark Ryan says, Holland won the NFL Combine as a freak, as an athlete, but the Pistons valued that over the best player. Jared Goff was available. They took Caleb Williams.
No,
I think he thought he cooked. I think he thought he cooked there. I think he burnt the dish. He burnt the dish bad. That is not.
I'm pretty sure Ron Holland doesn't paint his fingernails.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Hey, that's a great stance to take, Anthony. That's a great stance to take on that statement.
Bob Carrington.
Did not like that one.
Bob Carrington?
The Wizards.
Damn, Troy's cooking.
Who is
Troy's
Bob Carrington? I'm sorry.
Out for Bub.
Who's Bub?
We better watch out for Bub.
The guard from Pittsburgh.
Out of Pittsburgh, yeah.
He's every time I watched him, he just got better. He's a guy that just developed throughout the season, and a lot of scouts had him as possibly like a top 10 pick. The fact that Washington got him at the last pick in the lottery, that's a steal for them. I'm sorry, yeah, Alex Sarr and Bub Carrington, like that's a hell of a draft.
Wow, look at that. Letting Troy get a little hot here, huh? Yeah,
he's marinating. He's marinating.
Hey, Jeff, what did I tell you last week or this past week?
Yeah,
I said if the news does get out with Troy, that man had his hands tied.
Yeah. I mean that was shown at the press conference. Flooding Tom Gores with questions. Shout out to Woj, by the way, for having balls in that building.
That was such a great question from like unbelievable.
Phenomenal. Even Jeff Iafrate was really good too.
Yeah, those guys went in there. They went in there and went. They said, okay, "I have a backbone today. I had time today. We're figuring this thing out. I've got some questions for you guys."
I don't know if they'll be let back. I just saw Adam's response to Mark Ryan's tweet about comparing. Adam just responded, honestly, this is one of the worst comparisons I've ever seen made across sports. I'm severely more brain damaged than I was prior to reading this. Thank you.
I'm trying to wrap my head around it.
to Mark Ryan's, Jared Goff was available. You chose Caleb Williams. I don't. Who's Jared? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah, who's Jared Goff? I'm thinking.
I don't know.
Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams. As much as we want it, like,
that's the more wild part.
He was supposed to be like he's like a generational draft pick.
Like you would put like almost like Wemby as like Caleb Williams if you were to put anybody like from any recent classes.
Like who is he trying to say is Jared Goff? I'm confused. I would love to know.
Maybe Dalton Connect. Maybe I don't know.
It's got to be Dalton. Fundamentally sound white guy, just does what you ask him to do.
Caleb
doesn't do too much.
Like he did want Dalton, if that's what you're asking.
He did.
Oh, he wanted Dalton.
Yeah,
Dalton's still on the board, Mark.
Yeah, well,
we did too, Mark. We did too.
We wanted Dalton too, but it was more so trade back and make that play.
Yeah. We did talk about that yesterday, and Caleb to Ron, like Caleb was like the de facto unquestioned number 1 draft pick, and then Ron Holland's like he was a top 10 projected guy. Like it's not even the same. Like whatever, man. I love Mark Ryan. He's not a bad guy.
We've all had bad takes. I've had a lot of bad takes.
We've all had some of those. The Pistons replies, man. I checked their Twitter. Them announcing the Ron Holland pick, dude. They are.
I didn't even.
Can we go through them?
I couldn't even imagine. Like Trajan Langdon, welcome to Detroit. Like you just came to the worst franchise in sports as of now, and like this was like your first pick, and like fans want something. Like welcome to Detroit.
I'd be
think about Ron Holland. I keep saying Ron Harper. Ron Holland, imagine what he's doing. He's checking under. Oh, I just got drafted. Let me see what the fans are saying. They just all hate it. They hate it. He's calling up Cade. Cade's like, what up? What up? You ain't helping me anywhere.
Hey. What's going on?
Was it true? Hey, was it true that like I heard reports that a lot of these prospects did not want to meet with the Pistons and refused to come to Detroit to meet with Trajan because they just didn't want to be in this. I wonder, like, if that had to affect, like maybe Dalton Connect and these guys were like, no, I'm not coming. And like Ron Holland was one of the only ones that was like, all right, I'll come check it out. I'll see. I'll meet with you guys.
I just read when my Wi-Fi was fucking up that Ron Holland didn't even meet with the Pistons at all. Didn't even work out for him.
Oh,
he had no contact with the Pistons.
That we picked him. He's
Shut up, Mike. Jesus.
By the way,
he's gotta be sick right now. Like,
the Miami Heat.
He's like, fuck, man. I didn't work out for him. Like, how do they even know about me?
Oh, wow.
Who'd they take?
I had a tweet here that said they took Jared McCain, and then Shams just tweeted out someone else. Khalil Ware.
My guy.
Yeah.
Is that the big man?
Mm-hmm. He's a stretch big out of Indiana. Played for Mike Woodson.
Why would they take? Did they just re-sign Bam to a max?
Someone
probably thinking about the future.
Yeah.
They're at a point though too. Like they don't really need anyone in their starting line. Like they just need depth. Like that's a team that just needs depth. That's just a good depth piece behind Bam.
Yeah. Oh,
Lakers, Bronny Jr. 17.
Yeah, the Lakers are up at 17. We might see Bronny. Huh?
Sixers are at 16.
That would screw.
If he goes in the first round, that is just that's an embarrassment to the league.
What were you saying, Anthony?
That would probably screw up ESPN's second day draft in the second round if the Lakers or the Suns took them. Like,
yeah, they're expecting to like push that out in the second day.
You think the Lakers take them at 17 just to be like, fuck it, just to not even risk because the Suns are going to take them if they don't.
I think JJ Redick would probably change the passwords on the doors if that happened.
That's fair. He'd be like, Jesus, dude, what am I walking into?
Jack, pull up the tweet I just said.
Oh, AB. Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude, AB. Why is AB weighing in? Jesus. He doesn't. Okay, AB just tweeted. Let's pull this tweet up. Jesus. I mean, are we letting AB cook here? Or?
Is he tweeting about the Pistons?
Yeah, he said Detroit. Yeah. AB put on his Twitter, Detroit used to be a bunch of gangsters, now lucky to win 5 games. Shit sad.
He's not wrong.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
So
I want to know if that's actually him or the person he hired to run his Twitter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Either way.
Whichever one it was.
Yeah, let him cook.
Jesus, man. Let AB cook. Oh, gosh, man. Yeah, I think we're going to see Bronny in the next couple picks. I think that's such a Rob Pelinka, like Lakers pick. Like LeBron, take Bronny.
It's going to put headlines on the Lakers. That's what they need at all times. The biggest priority, their business over there. It's not for basketball. It's for show.
But if you're a Lakers fan, isn't that kind of what you would want just because you got the security of having LeBron for the rest of his career? You get his son. Like, wouldn't you just be rooting for that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And like, who's really out here outside of Dalton Connect and a few others that's really coming in and making a difference on the Lakers roster right now? Anyways, like
Jared McCain still on the board. I think Philly. I mean, Philly might be. Maybe Philly's like Jared. Come on over. Hell, let's get Jared McCain in here. I think Tristan Da Silva would be a really good pick by them too. I think he'd be if they let Tobias leave, which they're going to. Bring in Tristan Da Silva.
Did you see Corey Wood's tweet?
No, what'd he say?
About Ron Holland. It says, I didn't expect to go to Detroit. It's a huge surprise for me.
Oh, he doesn't want to be in Detroit. He probably is like, there's a reason I didn't meet with them. I didn't want to go to that franchise.
I told you that man. That's how he was feeling. How Jeff is feeling right there. How Jeff was looking. That was Ron Holland. He's like, fuck, I gotta go to Detroit. He's like, I thought they needed a shooter. Why the fuck did they draft me?
Yeah, he thought he didn't even have to worry about it. He's like, the last thing the Pistons need is me. I don't even have to worry about it. I'll be fine.
Maybe Corey misheard him. Maybe he said, maybe he misheard him a little bit. Maybe he said,
are you questioning his journalistic integrity?
No, I'm not. Corey, very fine journalist, one of the best in the game. Jesus, did he really say that? Son of a bitch. He could have said anything else. He could have been like, I'm happy to be here. Pistons are organization. No.
Okay, Corey had a whole thread. Holland said he had a workout schedule with the Pistons, but it didn't take place. So it was in place, but
see?
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, come on, boys. Come on.
If it didn't happen, like there was a reason it didn't happen. It's not like the man was like, missed my flight. It's not like he was like, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna be here. Know what? I ain't gonna be here. He hit the fucking Magic Johnson.
I heard the traffic in Detroit's pretty bad though.
Yeah, the traffic.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Only for like one of the more important meetings of the next.
Yeah. And by the way, none of the journalists had to drive in it, apparently. They just spawned into the
they were there on time. Gross style. Where were they coming from with the
no gross deal. No, I went to school there growing up. Chill out.
Well, I'm saying that's where they said that they ran in the traffic at, all right? You
that's
keep that. I know you're angry at the Pistons, Booner, but you don't need to take it out on me, you understand?
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's fair.
I thought you were going at my city. I thought you were going at my city.
No. Locked in.
One of my
I was saying how they were saying how they were being escorted by the chief of the fire department from however you say it.
Gross seal.
Yeah, and then they still were stuck in traffic somehow. Like that.
I mean, it is a far trip. It is a far trip from there, but I don't know why they're even coming from there, anyways.
Dude, you knew this meeting was happening. They were the ones that planned it, and everybody else that found out later was there on time.
Hey, Ryan says Booner needs a 4:30 a.m. hug.
I don't even know what that means. Shout out Ryan.
Well, that's what Trajan and Tom were doing. Remember, they were up till 4.
Oh yeah,
hugs and talking ball, talking life.
Do you guys remember? I just tweet.
I need someone that looks at me the way that Tom Gores look at Trajan Langdon. That's what I need.
Do you guys remember the hope? I just tweeted this out from my Twitter. Like the hope. Do you remember when Cade Cunningham put the buffs on that night? And Cade put the buffs on.
The aura.
As a Detroit Pistons fans, it was like an all-time high. Like you're like, we're about to be great again. Things are happening here in Detroit. We just got Cade Cunningham. And then, like, looking back at it now, you're like,
Anthony, what the fuck is this? What
is this? Pull it up.
This is worse than the meme we had. I mean, what is this?
Bro.
What is that?
No way.
Is that the self-defense guy? I mean, what are we doing? Is that the that looks like the self-defense guy. What?
So
I don't even know.
I could there's a backstory to this picture. So
please explain.
One of my friends was a Detroit Pistons dancer, and she said Tom Gores is in town and he's intoxicated. I was like, oh yeah. And then she sends me that picture and he's like hugging onto the security guard and says, I love you, man. You're the best. So
he's like about to just like bite his ear.
Yeah, I think he got confused. He was looking forward to something else during that hug, and he was just like, "Oh, sorry."
Looked around. I was like, "Oh, I'm in the arena.
I'm in the wrong place right now."
How did this happen?
No, this is so. God, he just can't beat the allegations, man. I mean, it's just.
When I got back from vacation and I watched the press conference, that first 15 minutes might have been the worst 15 minutes in Detroit Pistons franchise history. Like it was like I as Adam usually says, like lost brain cells. Like that is the worst. It was like, dude, you're just talking in circles. And then every time someone asked a question, he just went back to what he said at the beginning of the press conference. It was like, what are we doing here? I've got no clarity on this. Shout out to Trajan Langdon for giving some clarity, though.
It's entertaining, like how bad.
Oh my gosh!
76ers
took Jared McCain. Yeah, great pick for them.
Yeah,
great pick.
It's a great pick for them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Anthony, I haven't asked you yet. Do you think the Pistons trade Isaiah Stewart? We talked about the rumors that were brought up like last week. Do you think they finally move on from him? I seen someone in the chat kind of make a scenario about him, so I wanted to ask you that question.
I think what they're doing right now is evaluating like what they could possibly get for him. I will say I know some fans are 50-50 on him. I just think he's been playing out of position ever since he's been drafted. Like, if I were the Pistons, Isaiah Stewart is no longer starting. I'm putting him in a Naz Reid role 100%. I'm having him be that six-man, big man energy, big guy off the bench because we saw this year he's been able to hit three-point shots. He was one of the Pistons' best defenders, can rim protect. And that way you don't want to go pay Isaiah Hartenstein this free agency. You could just have Isaiah Stewart back up Jalen Duren.
Yeah, I see this this comment as well. Theo99 prediction: Holland will be better than Killian Hayes, Beef Stew, and Sadiq Bey. It's quite the bar low.
That's what made me think of it.
I mean, I could probably get drafted and be better. Than
that's why I mentioned it earlier, and I'll say it again. But the first draft's important, and Troy Weaver's first draft was his worst. So now, if you're Trajan Langdon, you at least want to walk out with the caliber of player that you look back in 5 years, you're like, yeah, it's a pretty good player. And taking Dalton Connect at 5, I don't know.
Jeff, I hate doing this to you, Jeff. I hate doing this to you, Jeff, because I've promised you, hey, I'm not going to bring up the past and some of our takes in the past. But
you're going to do it anyway.
Gentry's going to be on my side with this. I remember about a year ago, there's probably a text thread of me and you and probably Gentry as well, going at it for a week straight. And I thought there was a point a year ago to where we were no longer going to be friends because we butted heads on the Troy Weaver situation. And I was like, he can't draft. He's failed every first round pick. And you were like, it's hard to do that. Like, it's hard to draft. Do you remember that? So
yeah, I disagreed.
I want to bring it back to the point.
Yeah.
Trajan Langdon, it's hard to draft in the first round. So this whole draft, what did I spoil? I'm sorry. Someone said you spoiled it, Booner. What did I spoil?
Jeremy McCain.
Oh, okay. But my whole point is, like, it is hard to draft in the first round for Trajan. And if he can hit, like, if this ends up hitting, Ron Holland ends up hitting, and he ends up maybe trading back in, and then next year gets a first round, I think that's the most – that and making sure you get a right head coach. Like, the most important things right now in this franchise is hitting on your draft picks and a head coach.
Yeah.
Jeff?
I don't really know what you're doing.
I just wanted to bring that back up.
I'm confused. Yeah, I agree.
That whole argument was just one of the
what's Jeff supposed to say here?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. That argument was just like bringing it back, like thinking about it. We never ended up having a conversation after Troy's got fired about that, and I just wanted to bring that up. Because that was like
we just disagreed because you said every first round pick was a failure, and I was like, well, no, I think it fit wise we can argue that, but Cade, Ivy, and Sarr I think are all good players. Now whether they can fit or not is a whole other thing.
Well, the Cade and Ivy one were just okay.
Yeah, so it's okay. You give credit to guys. It's like Brad Holmes with Panay. I give credit to him for hitting on Panay.
Well, the argument was that first draft, that first class, you were like, let Sadiq. This was, I think, before Sadiq got traded, or it was when he got traded. You're like, let Beef Stew play out, let Killian play out.
No, I didn't say that.
Gentry?
I did not say that.
I need to go back and get some.
What I said was Killian Hayes was a bust, and I said Isaiah Stewart. If you're going to qualify him as a bust in the back end of the first, like, cool, you can do that, or the middle of the first, like, okay, cool. Like, I don't think it's as significant as Killian Hayes being a bust. It was kind of like, like you got a role player at what 8? What he was drafted 16.
Jared McCain dancing behind you in your background. So I'm not even listening to you at this point. I was just watching him do TikTok.
Hey, I gotta be consistent. Caleb Williams. I think Jared McCain, good player. Maybe sometimes a little cringy, but good player. Very good. Yeah. Actually, very good player.
Very fine.
Like
ball player.
Oh no.
Yeah, he's gonna be good. I do believe that.
It's a huge pick for the Sixers, man. That's a great pick, man. I like that pick for them.
Hey, well, the Lakers are up. You know what that means, right? Bronny James time. That's what it is. That's what this is right now.
No, they're gonna draft Dalton Connect, pair him up with Austin Rivers or Austin
Rivers.
Why?
Yeah, he goes, I play high level. I'm a basketball mind. Austin Rivers. Come on, Boone.
Why pair him up with
Austin Reeves? My bad, on me.
Why was Austin Reeves the first guy that you had to pair up Dalton Connect with?
Yeah, you know what?
Why him out of that whole roster?
You know how high the Lakers are on Austin Reeves? You ever see that? Like the Lakers want to get an all-star caliber player for Austin.
They refused to trade him. They were about to trade for like a big time player last year, and the reason they didn't was because of Austin Reeves. The team was like, I want Austin Reeves. They're like, nope, we're not doing it.
Austin Reeves is a good player. Like
Lakers only want an all-star back for Austin Reeves. It's like you can keep Austin Reeves. I like him, but what? Yeah, no. Hillbilly Kobe? No.
Damn, they did get connect. Booner was right.
Hey. See, now he's going to have a good career. He's going to be good. He's going to be
went to the Lakers?
Yeah, yep. Connect to the Lakers. Like, how about that for the Lakers? Just to sit there and have Dalton connect.
How about that for the Lakers? The Lakers barely made the offs this year. They didn't even make it, did they? LaQueen's leaving. LaQueen's going to be leaving in the next 2 years. Anthony Davis, brittle as fucking anything. He's going to be LaQueen, yeah.
This guy, Klotz.
And you got AD leaving. The Lakers, I mean, I do like the JJ Redick hire as far as what he could turn out to, but they're going to be getting ran through in the West.
We don't like Dalton Connect now. Now we don't like it.
No, I'm all in. That's a great pick for the Lakers. I'm all in on that. That's a huge.
Went to the Lakers.
Doesn't fit my narrative.
I think Dalton Connect was one of the more ready players instantly on this draft, and the Lakers need pieces to be able to play instantly for him. I think Dalton Connect comes off the bench. He's going to be able to light it up a little bit.
JJ in that war room, dude. I love seeing. That's my goat, man.
JJ's probably got the biggest
I did love his press
conference. Love him.
Yeah, sure.
JJ's probably rock hard. You got a shooter better than him, like straight up.
Yeah, he's like JJ. He's basically JJ. I mean, that's like what he is. He's probably like, I like this guy. Type of guy you let date your daughter. First one in, last one out. Gritty, pack a lunch kind of guy. That's Dalton Connect.
The Lakers made the postseason.
He's gonna run LeBron out of town.
Oh please. LeBron's gonna make that man stay in the league. He's gonna help him stay in the league. That's what he's gonna do.
Please.
That's a great pick.
People said the same thing about Norris Cole.
Norris Cole. Yeah, Norris Cole. Where to go?
Cavs legend. Don't ever or Heat legend. Cleveland legend though. Cleveland State Viking. Don't ever diss Norris Cole.
Yeah, Norris Cole. Norris Cole.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Memorial Chalmers. Yeah, not a fan of LeBron.
Hey, he made it out of Anchorage, Alaska. You've never even heard of that before. How many NBA players have made it out of Alaska?
Trajan Langdon.
Yeah.
Oh my God! No way.
He was from Alaska.
I just think that's hilarious. I was like, think of another one.
They called me Alaska assassin.
Ron Holland.
The Lakers. What a pick for them. That's a great pick.
He's got his chain on, diamond, dude. I swear to God, this guy's got swag. I mean, look at this. Dude's got the biggest chain on known to man. Wait.
That's a bucket right there.
Diamond bracelet. This dude's
got a bucket.
Chain set. Look at that. Oh my! I think it's his DK on it. That dude. The aura.
Yeah,
the
like
aura.
The Grady Dick last year. That was outrageous. That was outrageous. That man made more money on draft night than he will his entire career just off the marketing deals he got.
Yeah. And Anthony Black and Grady Dick next to each other.
Yeah, that was so
I'm not touching that.
Yeah, no. Second most points in Tennessee history. Dalton Connect.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a bucket. Just wait till you see him in the NBA. Second most points in Tennessee history?
In a season, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's in a season.
It was career. I was like, he played 1 year at Tennessee. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe the Pistons will
basically like another Austin Reeves, just better shooter probably. They're just getting a bunch of white guy like.
Gentry didn't like that the Austin Reeves slander. Gentry kind of stuck up for him for a second, but he backed down real quick.
No,
I just said he's a good player. Don't slander Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves is a good player.
He's been a pivotal part of that Lakers team.
Yeah, I'm with
Jeff. Don't give me that fucking look like Austin Reeves isn't a good player. Don't fucking.
I mean, Jeff,
dude.
I thought you were a ball. No, I thought you know basketball.
No, he is.
He's a good player. Like what? What are we talking about?
Fine. He's fine.
He averaged 16 a game.
He's fine. Yeah.
Okay. He's fine, but Tobias Harris is great to you.
I didn't say great. I said I did good. They're good.
Ridiculous, dude.
Good player.
It's ridiculous. You are over there, Vinny.
Jesus. What are you building around Austin Reeves, huh? That would Booner.
You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He's a good piece around.
Oh, they'll be all right post LeBron. They got Reeves.
Oh my gosh, you don't know what you don't know what you're talking about right now.
Hillbilly Kobe slander in here, man.
Yeah, Hillbilly Kobe.
Austin Reeves is literally better than everyone on the Pistons, but Cade.
He's not wrong. Not wrong.
Don't clip that.
Yeah,
you can clip it. I don't give a shit.
Ridiculous.
Austin Reeves.
You know what? No. Come on now. Get it together. Jeff.
He didn't average 16. He averaged 15.9. That was Booner yesterday.
Don't be that. Don't be that guy.
I get
technically.
He's a fine player. He's a very fine player. He's basically like, besides LeBron, he's their best playmaker. I mean, for sure.
Are you forgetting about D'Angelo Russell, Ohio State Buckeye legend?
Yeah, this guy
D'Lo,
dude. Oh my gosh.
I like D'Lo. I'm gonna be honest. I like D'Lo coming out. I don't know.
So did I. I wanted
him regular season.
Pause.
Oh, yeah.
Pause.
Oh, damn! I did it again. Son of a bitch. I retract that statement. To be honest, guys, where are we at with the temperature? I mean, do we feel like finishing this damn draft? I mean, do we seriously?
I'm good. We just hang out with the people, take some chats.
I mean, what do the people in the chat think? I mean, Pistons aren't going to pick again. I mean, we're just gonna.
You don't know that.
I know that. This draft, I don't think it's worth trading up to grab somebody, in my opinion.
Sounds like you don't want to be a dog, Jeff.
Well, if I'm being honest, I have to actually. I want to get YouTube going already. To be honest.
It's NBA draft, brother. Come on.
No, I'd rather we get to.
Exactly.
Early bird gets the worm,
you did this
boys.
to me in the NFL draft day 3. I was like, all right, Booner, go solo. Okay, I'm gonna go solo.
No, it's not about that. You know why? You know what that means. For early bird gets the worm. All right. If we get the clip up,
do mailbag and then wrap it up.
It matters.
Yeah, do mailbag. 10, 15-minute mailbag.
Yeah, and drop your questions for Anthony too while he's here.
Oh, Magic are picking. You guys see who they pick?
Yeah, let's see who they pick.
Not trying
it though.
Oh, good pick. Great pick.
Who went where?
Tristan Da Silva.
Great pick. I love Tristan Da Silva.
He's Colorado's, wing. He's playing with Cody Williams.
Tristan Da Silva was fun to watch at Colorado. Was fun to watch this last year.
Yeah. All right. Wow, what a question to start. Patty Grounds mailbag. Who was Jeff hugging at 4:30 a.m.? Honestly, not Tom Gores. I'll tell you that. And I don't know, Trajan Langdon. I think we need some space right now until we see how this pans out. I got to see some summer league here. I want to see this Ron Holland. I want to see Ron Holland.
He's comforting Killian. That's what he's doing.
Oh,
tell him everything's going to be okay.
Rishon says mailbag top priority in free agency. Anthony, what do you think? And we'll go around. Top priority.
Shooting. That's it. Shooting. Shooting it or rim running big. Because I can't imagine them running it back with all those guys next year and expecting to sell fans hope. You got to get some shooting. You got to get a rim running big, in my opinion.
Yeah, we all agree there, boys. I mean, we've been talking about it for days. Shooting. Not just days, but weeks.
Shooting and get a good fit. Someone that fits around your talent.
Let's see. Okay, next question. Theo, who will be the next Pistons head coach? I will go. If I'm being honest, my guess will be James Borrego, who I hope Chris Quinn would be my preference still at this point.
Yeah, what's been the conversation with Chris Quinn? Is that kind of out of the picture at this point?
I don't think they've met with him yet at all. They haven't met with him.
From what I've heard, they're all supposed to interview this weekend and early next week. So I know Sean Sweeney's got an interview coming up. I know Borrego's got an interview coming up. I believe JB Bickerstaff already interviewed. So I don't know what's going on there, but we have to wait and see.
Man, that's a hell of a job to take, by the way. Jesus. Walking. You better have some nuts if you're trying to turn this thing around. Jesse Adams, mailbag. What's worse, the Pistons franchise or HIV? Well,
what a question.
I would, I don't want to make that joke, but I was going to go away with that.
Just thread the needle.
Yeah, I was going to say they both are slow and they'll kill you. So, I mean, I'll go Pistons franchise are the worst. HIV, I mean, Magic had it, injected money in himself, and he got back from it. So, there's a whole other thing.
And he lost to the Pistons at one point, right?
He did.
Yeah.
So he lost to. No, he didn't lose to both, but he's experienced both.
Big Play Jay says, mailbag, will Ivy or Stewart be traded? You guys, what do you guys think? One, two, or one or both? One of them or both?
I think one of the two will be traded. I don't know who. I think it more likely it would be Isaiah Stewart, because, like Anthony said, Trajan said that he wants to see the IVK thing before he kind of makes a decision on that. So I do think that more likely it'd be the Isaiah Stewart. But I do think, like I said, I think you have to make some moves this offseason. You can't roll with the same roster essentially that you did last year. I think you're gonna have to make some moves with some young guys.
Yeah, I see Coach Walk says Magic Johnson's the only person to be cured of HIV.
Don't look up what he injected himself in, because it'll just probably gross you out.
Yeah. I think one of them will be traded. I think it'll be Isaiah Stewart. Who's some shooters in free agency? Big Play Jay asks. Well, Anthony, I think you're more dialed into free agency. I would say the first two that come to my head that are available: Gary Trent Jr., realistic Gary Trent Jr., Tobias Harris. I mean, there's plenny more.
Can I interest you in Klay Thompson?
Hell no.
The corpse of Klay. I love Klay too. I do.
No, I think I don't know. Like shooters, it depends what position you're talking about. You said Gary Trent, Gary Harris, if you want to be cheap.
Yeah.
Which Gary Harris, I mean, he can't stay healthy, but I mean, it's a body. This free agency is just so underwhelming. Najee Marshall is kind of a sneaky guy, former Pelican. You want to be cheaper, good defender, but I mean, this free agency is really underwhelming.
Yeah. Coach Walk 37 says Wiseman won't be back, so we need someone to back up Duren. Tyler says mailbag, if the Pistons shut a guard after drafting Holland, who do they ship Ivy or Stewart for? It's a good question. I don't know what a package for Isaiah Stewart would look like. That's one thing I can't really wrap my mind around. I don't know what you'd get for Isaiah Stewart, to be honest.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
A decent player in draft capital, maybe.
That's my guess. I don't even know if you would get would you get a first?
I don't even know.
A couple seconds maybe in the player is my guess.
That's the thing. I don't know how the league values him. I
know he's coveted by a lot of playoff teams. Isaiah Stewart is. So I mean, you could. I think about it like this: if the Pistons were able to get a first-round pick for John Lure, Isaiah Stewart can get is valued as a first-round pick.
Do it tonight. Actually, don't do it tonight. Dalton can actually off the board.
ETN says mailbag. Who would you guys like to see win an NBA championship aside from the Pistons? I'll go Knicks. Knicks, man, that would be electric.
Mavs. I would go to the Dallas Mavericks. I want to see Luka get one.
Yeah, I like the Mavs.
That's a good.
The Sun.
The Sun.
The Suns, obviously.
Yeah, Kevin Durant and D Book. D Book's my favorite player to watch, dude. I'm with you.
I want them to be bad, so Booker comes here.
Yeah,
he's never coming here, Booner.
I just want to see New York, the Knicks. I want to see Stephen A. Smith. I just think that would be fucking hilarious.
I want to see the Grizzlies win.
Oh my gosh, that city they'd be turned. They would be turned.
I don't know if they'd be able to do a parade in their city though. Ja would have to be on parole.
Yeah,
Ja wouldn't be able to handle that.
Tiger Town says I'll draft Brownie in the second. Yeah.
Draft Bronny, sign LeBron. There we go, Jeff. You got your franchise.
The Pistons are probably the only exception. Brown would be like, I really don't want to play with my kid that bad. Like, you can go to Detroit. I'll chill. I'll finish out my career here.
I'll retire and then come back like Jordan, and I'll whenever he signs his next contract, we'll figure that out.
Why can't we be like the Wizards? All right, give us like a couple years here in Detroit. All right, why not? Jesus, save us, please, LeBron. Just do something. Well, this was a lot of fun. I mean, hey, Ron Holland's the pick. You know, we'll digest tomorrow. We'll break it down more in depth. Get like a day after reaction. But hey, we appreciate all you for tuning in. For all the new viewers, subscribe because there's a lot of new people that tuned in tonight. And don't forget to like the stream as well. It helps push the stream out there. Until tomorrow, again, appreciate you, Anthony, as well. Check out his stuff. Link will be in the description. Pistons Talk. He does
appreciate
great work.
you, Anthony.
Covering everything as well. Until tomorrow, we'll catch you guys.
Love you guys.
Pieces.